Go ahead.
Okay.
And then hit on air. And go to edit.
Make it public.
View on watch page. Refresh the screen.
Can you hear us now? Sound, it's alive. Yep. I hear no noise.
Is that what somebody's saying?
Mm-hmm. Audio is working. Yay! Sound is good. Turn it off and turn it back on. It's a simple solution, I guess. Oh, well, hopefully you get your rest, Pony. She says she can't stay long. She's got to get up early.
Where's she going? She want to take a nap? Where's De Herrera? Kellen's here. We can hear you now. This is muted. Okay, now that's muted.
As a computer technician, I can confirm that works about 80% of the time. Turn it off and turn it back on. What about banging it? Does that work? Calandros? What? The crunching? I can do something quieter.
What are you doing?
I have quieter options for crunching and bothering me.
No, you chicken tendies fix everything. Are you eating ranch chips?
No, mayonnaise ones.
So I need somebody get in contact with De Herrera, and I need Leah. So Leah's in here. Leah, where's your buddy De Herrera? Where'd he go? And where is Kyle? Right. You're flaming me in your... Vin, were you flaming me in your Mudvayne video? I don't know what flaming means. What does that mean? Let me check my messenger. What do we say in the Mudvayne video? You talking about Gnosticism?
We talk a lot.
Where's Alec? Where is it?
Okay. It means you're throwing shade?
Okay, I know what throwing shade means.
Oh, what does that mean?
No,
Trolling, sort of?
Where is it?
Hello, Austin.
Oh, no. No, Alec. No, I was not flaming you in the Mudvayne video. We have so many, like, conversation portals that I can't... He's like, I messaged you. I'm like, well, in which platform?
Mm-hmm.
I love your video. 2 more well-known songs, such as Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold.
Hi, Mandy.
I'm finally here early. Tumba. What up, Village? Hey, Jay Greg. Okay, so do we have what are we talking about here? Do we have has anybody found the big homie Stephen De Herrera?
Pony said she messaged him.
Okay, what about Kyle?
Mm.
Fireside.
Steve should be on the way, Leah said.
Hello from Washington. What's up?
Somebody was saying something about weird info.
What's weird info?
I don't know. You pulled off the page, so I couldn't read it.
The sound of silence. All right.
The Village is the Facebook page that we have where we all hang out.
Where we all chill. Privyet. How do you say that thing?
Cocktaila.
Cocktaila.
Did you guys get the box I sent? The tracking number was given to me some weird info when I checked on it. Uh-oh. No, our plan to go to the post office tomorrow. We've had some technical difficulties.
Go tell the nice people. It seems that you want to tell them things. So go for it.
I do want to tell them things.
Go for it.
So, I don't know if you guys saw our Instagram thing when they had all those kids at the house. And I had this brilliant idea of getting my laptop and bringing it downstairs to show my sister videos of soap cutting because I find them wonderful and relaxing. Anyway, so I did this. Turns out, with all the kids around, wasn't a good idea because somehow this cup came flying over the top of the laptop and dumped lemonade into the keyboard and on the screen, and both are damaged. It's been pretty stressful for me. See, Pony, you understand. Soap off. So I was so busy watching the soap cutting that I wasn't watching the kids. And the same was true of my sister. And so it ruined. So I couldn't go to the post office because instead I had to go bring a computer to let them tell me how much money they're going to take from me, even though we have Apple Care. Talking with your mouth full, what a shame.
Matthew Winter. So I need somebody who's like very left leaning. Because I feel like this is going to be a one-sided discussion. So is anybody in the crew like super left leaning and saw the videos yet? Apple. What does Apple have to do with it? So if you had a
No, because I said the Apple Care doesn't cover it.
Who covers water damage? It does cover it. We paid 50% off.
Yeah.
It would have been $600 instead of the $300.
They charge an extra $100 because I need to get it back quickly so we can keep making videos. So it's gonna be $400 to get that fixed.
I'm middle, not left or right. Pretty left. Okay, Flanagan. Excellent. Okay, so Flanagan, did you see the video with Candace Owens? Where she got kicked out of the thingy?
How left do you mean? Sori's leaning on my left. She's probably leaning on your right, though.
I'm left, but not super left.
How do you say that name?
Looks like Perfect Tragedy.
Perfect Tragedy? Hey, don't forget to email us, you Perfect Tragedy.
What's up, Johnny? Yeah, the Candace Owens video where she got kicked out of the coffee shop.
Yes, we know that Nergal mentioned us. It was a very exciting moment for us.
Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens get attacked. I don't know if attacked is the word.
No.
Can I paste this in the thingamajig? Leah, you are not left. Stop it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you can put a link, but I don't think everybody else can.
Thanks, Brett. Are you guys left or right? We're probably centrist. So I posted the link. I'm going to post it again, and then I want to talk about it.
I haven't seen it. Wait, when did Nergal mention you guys?
He mentioned us about 2 days ago. Did Alex Jones say that? Obama is turning the freaking frogs gay with his chemicals. No, he did. Did he really say that shit?
I haven't checked the email yet, so. Pony. Join Sin and Glory Patreon.
I'm right, but I'm super left. Oh my gosh. That is insane. He most definitely did say that. Finn, the link doesn't open properly. Okay, so I'm going to play this clip where Candace Jones is getting booted out of this coffee shop or whatever. Sorry, Candace Jones.
Do you want me to... I mean, it'll be a little bit muddled, but I think I can turn the camera to face this when we play it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah. Oh, hey, De Herrera's in. I need somebody... Okay, so I need somebody who's a super leftist who's going to explain this to me.
Tell me when I need to start figuring out the camera.
Video's unavailable.
What happened?
I don't know.
I find stuff like that suspicious.
YouTube probably heard that we were... Candace Jones. See, YouTube heard that we were exposing Candace Alex Jones. All right. So, yeah, want me to do that? Yes, everything dies.
Honey, look at me. I'm always off. Can you push over, please?
Candace Owens, targeted by protesters.
So is it time?
Hold on. Because there's like a full... I want to see if this is the right one. Yikes. Okay, this is the one. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to play this clip, okay, with Candace Jones.
Okay, I'm going to do the best I can to adjust this. I got to wait for it to... It's going to take a few minutes because I have to get this. You think that's good?
I lack popcorn. Hashtag save Roseanne. And then we're gonna talk about it. That's cool. It's like a picture in a picture.
Yeah, why is it doing that? Shoot, it was like the best. Why is it doing that?
I don't know, babe. I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for it.
Oh, this isn't gonna work. Why is it doing that? Somebody,
so
Alec,
boot.
what the heck is going on here?
That is so boot.
Why is it doing that?
Screenception.
That's weird, because like at first we had it.
All right, so I'm going to play
stop doing this, right?
Huh?
Video that or no?
I don't know. We should have got that Wirecast thing.
We had no time. Okay.
So then...
You kind of have to go back to the page.
It's a meaningless endeavor.
Creepy mirror effect. Oh, not good.
The aliens is coming. Okay, so I'm gonna play. Well, we're just gonna hear the audio. We'll hear the audio, and then we'll play it that way. And then let people hear the audio, and then we'll call it good. Okay? All right. So, we'd have to play it like that. Oh, God.
No, we have to do headphones.
Well, I think...
Or you have to play it from your phone.
Oh,
do that.
Yeah, I'll play it from my phone. Yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll play it from my phone, and then I'll let people see. Kalendros is going to email me some stuff for live streaming. Exactly. I agree. Shrooms were kicking in. Somebody said I needed a haircut. I just got one like 2 days ago.
I know.
Gosh, can't people keep the audience happy?
I mean, you want him bald?
Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm about to play this video. I'm going to turn it up, and then we're going to have a discussion about it.
I do have French in me.
We're going to turn it up, and then we're going to have a discussion.
Yeah, we just started, Dirk.
Dirk, we just started. I'm actually not a big fan of Candace Owens, to be honest with you. Ever since she said that thing about global warming, like, that was the end of it for me. But, okay, so here we go.
Okay, I have not seen this.
Well, I'm playing it for the people, so I gotta hold it up to the camera. So I guess you can see it in there.
Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your capitalist breakfast.
Filming? This is crazy. So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck the bourgeoisie. 4, 5, 6. Fuck the bourgeoisie. 1, 2, 3. Big government sucks? That's what your phone fucking says? Big government sucks? Wait, what sucks about big government? Let's talk about that one. What sucks about big government? Is it the fact that y'all are part of big government? Supremacy! Fuck white 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 supremacy! They're sitting on a boulder park. Get that out of my face. Don't let that touch me. I'm not kidding. Wow, that's
All right.
So it was what was happening?
Punko Bengals. What is this? So Candace Owens is a conservative, black whatever. She shot a YouTube video like 7-8 months ago.
Okay.
And then she blew up because it was basically like black people are, she was basically saying that Obama was terrible for black people and all this shit.
Okay.
So she my chair shrunk. I look at my legs. I look like I'm on a tricycle. Oh, we just saw it happen on the video. Okay, so she shot this video about how black like Democrats or whatever need to stop complaining or whatever, and Fox News picked her up because whatever, and so she's ever since then she's been this big conservative, she's like the black wing of the conservative whatever.
Okay.
And so like she goes to the so like leftists have been doing this thing where they kick people out of restaurants, like they won't serve you if you're a conservative. So she went to this restaurant or Starbucks or whatever it was, and they kicked her out. And then that's what you saw happening. They were like, "No, get out of here. We're not going to serve you." And then like they start yelling at her and all this stuff. And so I just wanted to talk about it, like. And I wanted to hear from somebody on the leftist side. I'm so proud of you two. You two are secret savages. I wanted to hear from the leftist side, like, explain the logic to me, because I've only heard, it's a 1-minute YouTube clip. So it's like,
yeah,
maybe there's some context around it that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a political strategy that they're employing. So I wanted to hear that. Obviously, I want to hear from Steve, and a whole bunch of other people. So, you know what I mean? Because there's.
Oh, I agree. Because like at face value, this is friggin' crazy. I think. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna kick somebody out of your business. Like she can't find a place to eat on the way home because she doesn't know if she's gonna get booted out.
Yeah,
of the
they did the
place.
same thing, I
It's
guess,
just
to
weird.
Kirsten Nielsen, the director of Homeland Security.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand this. So
Okay,
somebody, the lefties won't talk live.
That's not true. Are there any leftists who would like to come and talk to us?
School us. What is THC?
THC is the chemical in weed that makes you high.
Okay.
Alex Jones said the government has secret bases on Mars where they keep kids as sex slaves. That is impossible. No way. The government has sex farms on Mars? can I play like I'm a leftist? No,
No.
I need an actual leftist to get on and talk to me about this.
There's no leftists here?
There
You
have
find
to
that
be.
straight? There's 225 people watching.
I don't smoke anymore. Alex Jones tried to sue a Sandy Hook parent for $100,000. He deserves everything he gets. His own channel and the wife and kids.
Okay, we need somebody that's a leftist to explain this to us.
Whoa, K2. Okay, so K2 has a point here. Okay. Can't call in, but if the court didn't side with the bakery on refusing their service to someone because of their sexual orientation, this may not be happening. That's very true.
I don't think it's the same thing.
Why don't you think it's the same thing?
Because the cake shop, it was an event.
Okay, Dante is going to talk to us.
They weren't saying they don't serve gay people. They said, I can't participate in this wedding.
Well, yeah, but to them it's the same thing, I guess.
But it's not.
Okay, so Dante, we're Vin and Space Sori. So Vin and Space Sori, call us up and explain this to us on Skype, please. And honestly, this is not a
Thrash Lord.
what?
Where's Doug when we need him?
Welcome to capitalism. Yeah, how's it different, babe? They refused to bake a cake for gay people. It's the same thing.
Because I think if the gay couple would have gone in and said, hey, we need a cake for our birthday party, I don't think that they would have said, no, we're not going to do it. It was specifically for the wedding because they believe two people of the same gender cannot get married or else it's a sin. And so it was a religious thing and a religious decision. If they were saying, we won't serve gay people at all, that's different. But they were saying, I can't participate in this event. I don't even think they serve anybody on Sundays. Like, these people had certain standards that they set for themselves. But you can't,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would have just made the cake, but I think that, but I have different reasons for I would have made the cake. Why I would have made the cake. But I think that it's different. I think this woman, what you're kind of telling her is she shouldn't voice what she thinks about stuff, or else you're not going to serve her. Like,
Yeah, but it's not
the same thing.
It's still, he'll do straight weddings, but not gay weddings. He's still discriminating. Okay, I'm not gonna have like I need somebody to call in. So if you're a leftist, please call in. Hey, Troy. And I'm saying leftist as shorthand. I'm not a very big fan of division, but we're divided right now, so here we are. Dirk, you're not a leftist. Okay, so LDK is updating. If memory served, they offered the couple a cake off the shelf, but refused to make a cake for the couple.
What happened?
I guess they offered to make a cake on the shelf that was already made, but then they wanted like a brand new cake or something like that. I don't know.
They're saying if we won't so they're saying we won't refuse to serve. You can take one of the cakes there, but I can't specifically make a cake for your wedding because it goes against my beliefs.
Well, Kellen, I don't know if everybody thinks it's stupidity. And to me, it's like, I don't think people are like, to me, I feel, anytime I see something like that, I go, okay, there's some sort of socio-political strategy here. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, obviously, one of the strategies is we're talking about it now. It's all over the news, so that worked. But, like, what's the end game here? How does this benefit the leftist cause, I guess, is where I'm trying to go. And morally speaking, is this justifiable in any way? Because until I hear, like, the breakdown from a person on that side, like, I don't like hearing about Islam from Christians. You know what I mean? Like, I like hearing about Islam from Muslims. So I want to hear like a breakdown from a person who's left leaning as to the logic and how this helps them, because like I really feel like this is not a good play because it makes them look,
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a 5-minute video that shows like that provides context or something like that. People are saying it's not justifiable. Elio Mike! Sadly, Vin, I don't think people are that smart.
The real Eric Mitchell. Sorry, I have weed in my system.
Oh, thank you for telling us.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
How do you feel?
It's not justifiable at all, in my opinion.
Did you get Mandy's Skype message?
I just looked at it. Yes.
I'm eating Snickers, guys. Vin got me one.
Yes, Mandy, I just saw it. What's up? And I'm not doxing Mandy because Mandy's her name. That's a good point. Fundamentally, you have two protected components, sexuality and religion, and it's not clear which trumps the other. Hey, Alberto.
What's our zodiac signs?
I have no
I don't
idea.
know. My birthday's January 28th, and his is April 29th. Is that right?
Yep. So what does that make us? EU has a problem with the healthcare system. Let's talk about it. Was it a Skittles cake? I don't get it.
Rainbow. But whenever somebody puts that little thing, it always kills me. Oh, Chris Culp is April 30th. He said we are...
Shout out to the big homie. When the gay couple
Alberto's been binge watching us.
went out of their way to find this baker, they lost credibility in the eyes of the court. What do you mean they went out of their way to find the baker?
A couple of people have said that they literally were looking for somebody to say, no, I can't do that, so that they could blast them. I never heard of that.
Really?
I saw a couple people in this chat say
What
that.
evidence do we have for that?
They're saying the court, came out in the court. I don't know. Prove that.
I don't really know much about that case.
Me neither. And grabbing another beer because I'm far too sober for this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're waiting for somebody to call in.
Strategy. How many conservatives are currently being kicked out from restaurants now? I don't really... But see, this is where I do think there's strategy, because it's not like every single person with a MAGA hat is getting kicked out. It's very specific kinds of conservatives. You know what I mean? So it's like... It's very famous ones. So I feel like there is a strategy there. What's up, Sarah Palmer? All right. Yep, you found us. Why is it so hard to find a left-leaning person in a metal channel?
I know. I would have thought there would have been tons of left people. Left-leaning.
Where are my left-leaning people? A restaurant kicked out
Chris
Sarah.
Harmon, we basically just started.
A restaurant kicked out Sarah Sanders, the press secretary. What do these people do? There has to be... Okay, Andrew Pride, do you believe that there's a strategy from the left? Okay, we've got someone. We've got someone, babe. Boop. No, what happened? It's the F4. Hello? Are you my friend? Speaker off. Hold on. Hello? I turn it down. Hello?
He does that voice when we go through the drive-through and the person's not answering. He's like, hello, hello. I'm like, I always feel like laughing when he does it. And I'm like, if I was a person on the other side, I'd be like, he's making fun of me because I work at this takeout place.
Why would I make fun of a
That's
person?
what I feel. That's what I would feel like. You know how I am with stuff.
Yeah, you are.
But they don't take it wrong. They always seem fine.
All right, let me call the person back. Let me call the person back.
Okay, I'm glad you're not saying the person's name.
Hello, person.
Is this a dog?
Did he hang up?
Yeah.
Hello.
It's just
Hello.
always so hot in here. I'm gonna turn
Hello. Ah, terrible. Hello? Hello, sir? Oh my goodness. What a disappointment. Okay.
Hello from Chicago.
Are there any leftists?
Damn, we got some creepers calling. I can hear you breathing, you coward.
Who's that, David Sage?
Yes.
Hello, please.
They came from TJ Maxx. I love them. They're so comfortable too.
Mike's not working for some reason. Let me see. All right. So we might still be in business, inshallah. All right. The mic is not working. Sorry, you're beautiful. It's not the weed talking.
Sure.
Maxine Waters is a Democrat that publicly stated when people see an every Okay, Leah, call us, please. Because we need somebody to fill in the blanks here and give us some
I know.
to give us some context here. You've got mail. Yeah.
No white knighting Vin's girl.
Exactly. No, Raul, this is not something I'm even debating at this point. Like, I'll let you guys know if it's something like, if it's a debate, you know, like if you say something.
Maybe I should be the talker on this call. Oh, look, someone's calling you.
Yeah, that's Leah.
Oh.
If you say anything about, like, Christianity or something, then.
Yeah, if it's a debate, then I'll let Vin do it. If it's a question like this, you should let me run it.
Go for it.
Like,
Leah!
yeah, but it's Leah. She knows what this is all about.
Leah!
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hold on. Let me
Hello.
Let me fix our bootleg contraption.
This is Sori here.
Hi, sorry.
Here we are.
Okay, so can you explain what the hell is going on in our country right now?
It's basically the left's attempt at showing Trump and all of his supporters that they're not the way to go, that they're not wanted, they're not welcome, they're not supported. It seems to be the leftist idea is to confront them wherever you see them, whether it be actually Trump's staff or Trump supporters, and fight back, basically.
Okay, so you made a comment about Maxine Waters.
Absolutely. She's kind of the one that I don't want to say she started it, but she definitely fueled it, because I think her comments came after Sarah Sanders was confronted or was kicked out of the restaurant.
Okay, so Roke wants to know do you consider yourself a leftist, Leah?
Do I? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I cannot believe there's no leftists in this.
So
Well, maybe they just don't want to talk.
okay, so what do you think the strategy is? Because I think like the last couple days, people on the other side are just looking for a reason to hate. I don't know if they're just looking for a reason to hate though, because I feel like there's a strategy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that what she was saying made sense. Like that they're just going after everybody that's like that is like in a support of Trump, because they're so like they want Trump out. There's like some people that are like way
Absolutely.
beyond Trumped out. So
There's 60 Democrats that have already signed up or signed a letter or whatever to proceed with impeachment process, even though he has done absolutely nothing wrong. And this was months ago. This is basically right after he got into office. all these Democrats got together and said, we need to impeach him.
Okay, so why are you saying he's done nothing wrong? I mean, isn't that Russia thing a little bit suspicious to you?
Suspicious in what way? No, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, hasn't the intelligence community come out and said, you know, Helsinki wasn't a good play, like there's some problems here?
They said it wasn't a good play insofar as they wanted Trump to be harder on Vladimir Putin out in public. Especially the left people, the Democrats, they wanted Trump to totally blast Putin in front of everybody for meddling in our election when the Democrats actually did a hell of a lot more in that department than Russia really did.
Well, the general election, well, Putin, the claim is that Putin was messing with the general elections. When you're saying that
Correct.
the Democrats were meddling, they were meddling in their own primaries. Isn't that what you're saying?
That's part of it, but there's also there's new information. Actually, I was just watching tonight about all the stuff that went on with the whole effort to investigate Trump in the first place for this whole collusion thing.
Yeah.
Like, the dossier that they used was paid for by, you know, the DNC, Hillary's campaign, through this Fusion GPS company, and it's a complicated, conflated thing, but basically, Obama's DOJ, part of his FBI, and employees all in that circle were working to get this investigation going, either to derail Trump from getting the presidency, or if he did win the presidency, to giving them the reason to kick him out afterwards, basically, is what it seems like.
Okay. What do you think because they're not kicking out every conservative. It's very specific type of conservatives that are getting, you know, kicked out.
Well, it's probably his closest supporters, if you want to call them that, in his cabinet. I mean, Sarah Sanders is obviously his press secretary. You know, she does the briefings for him every day and speaks on his behalf. And she doesn't have a very good relationship with the media, so of course they're going to go after her. Kristen Nielsen is the same thing. She's the one that's, you know, enforcing all of Trump's border policies, so of course the media is going to go after her.
All right. I see. Okay, Leah, thanks. I need you to stick around though, because I might have a lefty that comes on and handles and refutes you,
Yeah.
Leah.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to talk to him.
Okay. All right, so we'll let you know. Is there a way to conference on Skype?
I don't know. I thought one person was going to come in on my phone and one was going to come in on yours.
I think so. Oh, look, it says add people. Leah,
No, I'm sorry. I don't believe in Pizzagate, by the way.
Leah, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I think I just added somebody. Done.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, you there? New person?
Hello?
This is the same guy with the, Are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Okay. Are you...
What shall we call you?
Are you... First of all, what do we call you, sir?
You can call me Ecstatics.
Ecstatics!
Oh!
This
Or
is...
Brian.
This, now,
What's up, Brian?
Ecstatics, are you a leftist?
I am these days more left-leaning, yes.
Okay, you're more left-leaning. Okay. So, what was your thoughts on what Leah just said? Leah, are you still there?
I'm still here.
What's up, Leah?
This is awesome.
Hi.
So Ecstatics is the guy that does the music for our, you know, when we do Vin and Sori or whatever, that background. That's,
Nice. Oh, sweet.
yeah, he knows the shit. Okay, so Statics, first of all, do you agree that Trump has done nothing wrong?
I'm sorry, Liam. I don't agree with that at all.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it, but has anything been proven? That would be the better question.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's what's in the process of being proven.
Don't you think? How long is the Russian collusion investigation? How long has that been going on now?
About 2 years, which is about right on time, given how many cases there are and how many people that have been indicted, how many guilty pleas have already been accepted by the special counsel. Some people have already gone to jail. Things have been proven. And what you do when a big investigation like that, like, okay, say take a class action suit that a lot of people are involved. You have to gather evidence and details from every single person and then start outward and work your way in. That takes a very long time. In a lot of cases, it could take 5 to 6 years before they can get to the actual center of the investigation. Now, they got a lot of people working on this, and they're getting to the center pretty quick.
Okay, so
Right.
Leah, what do you think of that? Some people have already been thrown in jail. How can you say nothing happened?
Because the majority, at least as much as I know, the people that have been thrown in jail have been for things that are absolutely unrelated to the campaign. Like Manafort is on trial for a friggin' 2005 tax fraud or whatever it was. Has absolutely nothing to do with the 2016 campaign.
Manafort's charges are a lesser plea deal, and they do the lesser plea deals if you agree to cooperate. And
correct, but he's still on trial, isn't he?
Yes,
He still faces. He still, I think, faces pretty significant jail time.
Yes, he
So
does.
if that's the deal he took, then he has a shit lawyer and he took a shit deal.
In cases like that, where you're facing some time, and maybe some hard time, you can either face that hard time or you could face life, or multiple life sentences. When you have something like that, you kind of look at it like, okay, what was the deals again? What can I get to kind of lessen it or take the edge off of what I'm getting already? I mean, there's just,
hold on.
It's not.
I got to interrupt you there for a second, though.
I got a question for him.
Hold on. So, Ryan, wait a second. What you're saying is Manafort, for example, yeah, people have been thrown in jail, but technically speaking, Ryan, has anyone been thrown in jail due to Russian collusion?
Which is not a crime, by the way.
I'm trying to remember his name. Really tall guy with glasses. He was from Russia, and he was one of the 12 Russians actually that were indicted, and all the other ones were already in Russia or in another country, so they couldn't grab them. But this guy was in the States, and they were able to snag him and indict him.
Right. They were indicted for meddling in the election. Not for colluding with the U.S.
Manafort was the campaign manager, right?
For a brief period of time, yeah.
Okay, brief period of time, but he was the campaign manager, and it was only because of a brief period of time because he got found out, and so they had to kick him off the team. Then the whole investigation with him started, and then he ended up getting indicted. Now he's in jail.
The investigation into Manafort started as soon as he got kicked out of the Trump campaign?
It started a little bit before that.
Okay.
Okay, and Manafort has been a Russian pundit for over 12 years. He's been handling campaigns in Russia and the Ukraine for years. And they found out not only was he handling campaigns, but he was also set and paid $4 million a year in Ukraine to set policy after Russian leaders took over in Ukraine.
Yeah, but that's not treason though, Ryan.
Alright. The investigation officially began in 2016, by the way. I believe it was July.
Okay, but Leah didn't.
But this is what I'm saying is, like, you can't say that Trump has done absolutely nothing wrong, because he keeps tripping himself up and he keeps saying things that he shouldn't be saying and tweeting things he shouldn't be tweeting. And all the people that are already investigating and the guilty pleas that they've gotten, you know, they could be.
Yeah, I get it. That's what you keep coming back to. Okay.
But all this is working its way in to the Maine,
right,
which is collusion or treason or whatever they're going for. They're not playing all their cards right now. They're not going to do that. It's an open investigation.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
an open investigation. But do you honestly, hold on, I'm sorry. Do you honestly believe that if they had something that they could hang Trump on right now, do you honestly think that wouldn't be already out there?
No.
You really think they would be able to keep that secret with the way people tend to leak?
With a special counsel, absolutely. Take a murder investigation, for example. You got a murder investigation, and you're going around, and you're
this is far from just a regular murder investigation.
Hypothetical. This is, I'm using this as an example. When you investigate, you're not going to give people all the information you've got.
Yeah, but a bunch of
the people that may be guilty or the suspects involved could hear about that, and then they could try to build their case against it.
Well, what's the point of scaring all the suspects involved if they're already in jail? Why would you have to worry about that? Apparently,
not all in jail.
I said if they had anything on Trump, do you think that would be out?
Hold on. So what I have is technically right now, Ecstatics, we don't literally have anything to indict Trump in any way of actual treason, nor do we have any person connected with Trump in prison for treason. Is that true?
No, we can't say that at all because we don't know what they have.
No, I'm saying right now.
Right, we don't know what they have.
No, I'm saying right now based on the information that we have right now.
The information that the public has right now.
Okay. Well, that's all. That's all we have. Leah, I gotta ask you though, because I think I heard this and saw this with my own 2 ears and my own 2 eyes. Isn't it true? I want to say, Ryan, I might have to call you for an assist. Didn't Trump say during a debate against Hillary, didn't he look into the camera and tell the Russians to keep hacking and spreading her stuff?
Find the emails. I hope you find those emails. Yes, he said that on camera.
It wasn't a debate. I believe it was one of his
it was a rally.
Rallies.
Well, I mean, isn't that an open invitation for the Russians to collude into our?
Well, I mean, there's I think the evidence is pretty clear that Russia did hack into the DNC servers.
Well, didn't he?
At some point, that's how they found out about Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary rigging their primary against Bernie.
Right, I get it, but isn't him looking into the camera telling a foreign nation to hack? Because at that time, wasn't she? I don't know if she was still the Secretary of State, but she was a Secretary of State. So wouldn't encouraging that, like, doesn't that put us at risk national security wise?
I think if he were seriously sitting there telling Russia, "Hey, hack into our shit," and
He
fucking
did.
this, to me, it was more of a. From what I remember watching it, it was more of a, "Hey, if you've got the rest of these emails, put them out."
Well, I mean, Leah, is that right or wrong as an American?
As American, you know what? That's probably not something he should have done.
Okay, so then he has done things wrong.
Well, you can say, sure, you can say that. I guess you can say that, but I wouldn't say he's done anything worth being impeached. I don't think he's broken the law.
Well, shit. I mean, well, okay. So Ryan, let me go back to you. Technically, I mean, people are saying it was a joke. I mean,
Yeah,
he technically, Ryan, that obviously must not have been treasonous because he said it in public and he didn't get arrested immediately or impeached or whatever. So,
Right. I'd rather have him say that than have my president going on an apology tour for our country.
well, Leah, but see, him doing that does kind of make me go, okay, then it's not beyond reason that he would collude with them during the
Well, see,
election.
that's the thing. He on a regular basis, almost a daily basis, shoots himself in the foot saying things like this. He'll go and tweet and make his Republican colleagues cringe, and then they have to go and backtrack and try to get out of the mess.
Yeah, well,
And let's bring it back to the meeting at Trump Tower, and this has been building up recently because the story has again changed. Now they were saying, Trump was saying that it was about Russian adoption of children, and Trump shoot himself in the foot again and said, "Oh no, it was about something, but it wasn't about the."
Actually, I think somebody somewhere said it was about them looking for dirt on Hillary.
Yes, and
It's just called opposition research, which is done in every political campaign. So I don't. To me, that's not news.
With Russians, though, Leah?
In the first place, and say it was about adopting Russian children.
Because the person that they were meeting with, I believe, if I remember correctly, was a Russian. Was she a lawyer? She portrayed herself as something like that. And that's the pretense that she used to get the meeting with them, supposedly, was she said she wanted to talk with them about Russian adoptions.
Okay, guys. Thank both of you guys. We got more people calling in. It was that Flanagan that just messaged me. Both of you guys did a really, really good job. Thank you guys for stepping up and talking.
Leah, completely respect you. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, no disrespect at all.
But say that again. Say that again for the people in the back. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm talking over you. I know. I'm talking over you. But hold on. Both of you, I want you to say that again so that we can get this on camera, because the whole reason I'm having this discussion, one is because I don't know the information and you guys know more about it than me. But two, I want us to be able to have these discussions without tearing each other apart and wanting to murder one another. I just had a guy say that that we were leftist, and he was.
I know, yeah, and he said he's out.
He's like, I'm out and I'm on subbing. Well, I mean, God bless you, buddy. That's not what this is about. What this is about is we cannot talk to each other in this country because we're so dug in on either side, and we don't listen to each other. And so it is very, very important that we talk about these things together as a community. Thousands of people are going to end up seeing this, and we've got to show people how to disagree agreeably and love your neighbor, especially your own countrymen. These are our own flesh and blood, and we're tearing each other apart in this country. That's the purpose of this discussion. This is not me trying to be an apologist for Trump or Hillary or Bernie or whoever. It's me doing my little bitty part to try to breach all of these divides that are happening. Okay, so say that last part to each other. So both of you guys were on complete opposite side. You totally disagreed with each other. You went back and forth. What's the last word you have for each other?
I completely respect Leah in every way, and she is my sister, and she is part of the village. We are all villagers, and this is what it's supposed to be about.
I absolutely agree. Nothing but respect. We are the village, and I thoroughly enjoyed getting to talk to you.
Word.
Boom. That's how we do it up in here.
Hashtag build that wall.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag lock them up.
Lock her up, actually.
Okay.
Don't get it right eventually.
All right, guys. What in the world? All right. We have somebody else, right? Somebody else is getting ready to call. Who's gonna call us?
Passamaquoddy and Penobscot is what I've been told is in my Indian side.
Oh, please. I want to debate a right winger. Okay. All right. Okay, so Flanagan, call me up, brother. Okay. We just get it? Hold on. Hello?
Oh.
Hello? This is a brother that doesn't have the mic working. My friend, your mic isn't working. It's all staged, he says. You see that one?
No,
thing?
I know. No, I didn't see the Facebook message you sent. I haven't seen any of the messages
Was
you
that
sent,
Flanagan?
except for the ones. No, Perfect Tragedy. The only ones that I saw was the ones I responded to in the comment section.
Ooh, that was a good one, Gojira. You can't build a wall if the villains are inside, Leah. Okay. Where is Flanagan? Where'd Flanagan go?
Six-string battle axe says, "I'm a master debater."
Okay, are
Then
you
call in,
are
sir.
you on the left or the right, sir? Demon Lord, I'm
Annie.
pretty sure we'll be here in an hour.
That's the second one Annie's put through. Thank you, the humanitarian.
Whoa, Annie the humanitarian,
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Sori needs to draw whiskers on her face.
Habib
Many
goes,
people say stuff like
Habib
that.
goes, dude, I want in on this. Okay, Habib, you got to tell me, are you? I need your number. No, you don't, Flanagan. All you have to do, my brother, is Skype us.
Let's go. I'll debate anyone. The Beast, 1981.
Well, you got to have. I mean, if you listen to Ryan and Leah, you'll see that, you know, they had a general understanding of their basic positions, and they were able to articulate it. So, do you have a position that you hold to?
Right.
I have sides. I am a potato. Vin, are you guys conservatives or liberals? We're kind of lost. We're lost in the shuffle. I can tell you I'm like fiscally very liberal, I think. I think I'm probably a socialist. Probably. Not like the murderous socialists that killed a bunch of people in the 20th century.
Devin Rodenberg said, "I just wish we could leave the two-party system."
I agree with that.
And thank you for the super chat.
The handle is Vin and space Sori. Vin and space Sori. I will take Bible questions after. Okay. De Herrera. Okay, perfect. So De Herrera is on the right, and then Flanagan's on the left.
Good.
Okay, perfect. Skype is Vin and space Sori. Right now, we need Anthony Flanagan and we need Steven De Herrera to step up, please. Babe, can you type it out?
Yep. What?
I've already watched Hillary's America. Thank you so much, Jacob. Okay. Oh, we got De
He
Herrera
says,
on
"God
the line.
bless Trump and Cradle of Filth." 420.
Hello. How do I get back? Speaker off. How
I
about
don't
now?
have Skype. Download it, my friend.
Is that Flanagan? Says he doesn't have Skype?
No, the Beast 1981.
Hey.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear, my brother. We are waiting.
Awesome.
We are waiting for Anthony Flanagan, who's on the left, and you guys are gonna go at it
Can you push over?
in a very village-like fashion, De Herrera.
I will try my hardest.
Oh my goodness. Says you're not
I
a
got
con.
the family's watching downstairs, so I gotta watch my P's
Yeah.
and Q's, I think.
$100 minimum wage. You're out of your mind.
Okay,
$100 minimum wage. Oh, I think he's right there.
Okay.
He's right there. Except
Do you hear what he just said?
what?
His family is downstairs watching this discussion.
Yeah.
So if you can tell our other caller not to use any language. Because he's got
Why?
his family listening downstairs. He just said it. He said he's going to watch his P's and Q's. I guess I'm assuming that meant your language, right?
Hold on. We got somebody on hold. Except.
I mean, I think he
Resume.
probably has his kids, and the kids want to watch his discussion. So
I mean,
He doesn't
they're
know.
fine. They're fine. Everybody's fine.
they're his kids, and he just said he has to watch because his kids are there. Are you listening to me?
I'm trying to. Hey, De Herrera, are you there? Speaker's off. Hey, you there? Hello? Who's this? Hello? All right, I'm gonna call them both back. Hello? Hello, De Herrera, are you there, buddy?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Anthony, don't call me. I'm going to call you because that's how I add you to the thingy. Yeah, it's Anthony Flanagan.
Mr. Mason, thank you. He said,
Babe, can
much
you
love for the big
Tell
homie.
tell Anthony not to call me. I'm going to call him.
Anthony, oh, type it.
Yeah. I think we got it. Anthony, you there? I think we got him.
Okay, much love for the big homies, Vin and Sori. Now let's get that Bible study going. I know.
Hello, Anthony, are you there? De Herrera, are you there?
Thank you, Mr. Mason.
I am still here.
Anthony, are you there? Where is Anthony?
How did this become a political show? Because that's what the topic of this fireside chat was. I believe it was in the description.
Hello? Anthony, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Remember, are you there? I am.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
Turn down my computer.
yeah, I would mute the computer if I were you, my man.
Is there a speakerphone I can listen to?
No. You're on my speaker.
okay.
You're on my speakerphone right now.
No, I mean, is there a way I can listen to you on speakerphone?
Yeah, you hit the speaker icon. Like if you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got to turn it out. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh, all right. I'm ready.
All right. So Anthony, you said you wanted to go after a right winger, right?
Well, I just not go after them per se, but at least debate them. Depending on what they want to say or what they have to say.
Okay, De Herrera,
Yo.
what did you have to say, my man?
Oh, God. Where do I start? I guess the topic that kind of got me interested in this was the whole Mexican border thing. So let's start there.
Okay. What's your take on the Mexican border?
Who am I talking to?
This is Steve.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Go ahead.
Cool deal. All right. So this is my take on the whole Mexican border thing. I mean, I live in a border town, unfortunately.
Where do
It's
you
not
live?
Texas. I'm sorry?
Where do you live?
I live in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's not Texas. so I didn't, I can't speak to what Texas did on the Texas side. But here's kind of the down and dirty. What I got on the whole situation is that we have laws in this country, point blank. Like, you steal a candy bar, there are repercussions. You joyride in a car, there's repercussions. You break the speed limit, there's repercussions. That's the theory behind law and order. I guess that's the application of law and order. So when you have this group, and I mean whether they come from whatever country, through the Mexican border, they are entering a country illegally. This country illegally. Period. That's breaking the law, and it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's a law that is broken, is a crime that is committed. There are ramifications to that law being broken. What Trump did is basically pass a zero tolerance policy on a law that's already established. It was already there. So you get, all this outcry over the families being separated, over these children in concentration camps or prisons or whatever you want to call them.
Baby jails?
I'm sorry?
Baby jails?
Sure, baby jails. Whatever term you want to call them. I mean, it is what it is. So we have this, but I mean, there's never been an outcry for the separation of families, for, other crimes. We have somebody's housed in prison for whatever, whether it be a violent crime or a capital crime or even corporate crime. There's never been an outcry on this scale for any family being separated or ripped away, as people like to put it. And I mean, I dig in on both sides. I don't like this, just be a Fox News kind of, I get all my information from them. I dig into CNN, I'll dig into MSNBC, I'll dig into whatever I can to find both sides. This topic, I guess, to me is near and dear because it's basically an outcry against, I mean, like Leia touched on it, is just, anti-Trump for the sake of anti-Trump, because he's the one that passed the zero tolerance policy, and it's also kind of an outcry for victimization of people that didn't get any airtime 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so Flanagan, how would you respond to that? It's like, hey, look, man, they broke the law, okay, and in America, if you were an American citizen and you broke the law, then you would separate families. You wouldn't say, oh, okay, you were a bank robber and your dad robbed the bank, but because you have a family, we're gonna let you off. You separate families then. So why this big outcry at the border?
Well, to corroborate some of what Steve said, both Clinton and Obama also said, there needs to be border control. And like my friend who's I go back with since third grade, we argue all the time. He's like, there was no I lost you. You guys still have me?
No, we're here, brother.
For Trump. Well, number one, am I here?
You're here. We got you.
Okay. Well, anyway, but the discrepancy is no president other than Trump came out and used this as a weapon and a fear-mongering type deal for Americans as a weapon by saying they're all drug lords, they're all rapists, and some of them are good people. It's like, what the F, dude? It's like, that's crazy, man. You can't. And then number two, he said that it wasn't a deterrent, that this law was in place to separate these people. Excuse my language, but I will say that. I'll just say that's BS, because I'll tell you this: there was no law that said that they had to be separated. That was something he did, and he said it was not a deterrent. But when one of the news organizations like CBS or whatever went down to the border and they talked to a guy who may not have seen the memo, they asked him, "Is this a deterrent?" And he said, "Yes, it is. This is exactly a deterrent." And so I understand what you're saying, man. The laws are the laws. We just can't let anybody come in. But let me just say this as a person, brother, and not as right-wing or left-wing, okay? Put yourself in that person's shoes for one moment. Have you ever been really poor? Well,
I did not grow up wealthy at all.
Okay, brother, let me tell you something. These people make poor people in America look like they're living good, most of them. Now, let me say this, and it's not an excuse, this is a fact. They are in towns where the cartel is wreaking havoc. And I've seen pictures, unfortunately, on the internet where there's 8 heads out in the middle of a street. Now, you have children, and these 5-year-olds go out and they see this. They're traumatized for the rest of their lives. If you go out at a certain time or they knock on your door just for the hell of it, they threaten you and they extort you. And if you don't run drugs for them or you don't do what they say, they shoot your wife in front of you, or they kill you or you get away if you're lucky. And those people, a lot of them, are not. They're not illegal. See, that's the thing. A lot of them are not illegal. They're coming across the border legally as for asylum, and they're getting separated, dude. They're supposed to be refugees, and everybody's
not accurate at all.
Yeah, and everybody's clumping all these Mexicans in one barrel, man, and one blanket, and saying they're all illegal aliens. They love to say that. They won't say undocumented because it doesn't have enough firepower. They're illegal aliens. They're taking you're taking your jobs, our American jobs, and they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, I don't think a lot of that's true. And there's a lot of things a lot of people don't know. Quote unquote illegal aliens do pay taxes. Do your research. They do pay taxes. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm sorry, Flanagan. How do they pay taxes if they're not documented?
I don't know. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. I forgot some of my information on that.
I can actually answer that because I do know what you're referencing. There are working visas that they can get. They're here in a working status, but they're not here in a resident status, and that's where that information comes from. When you start talking about illegal aliens that pay taxes, it's not the same demographic. That's more of a talking point to kind of point at the fact that all these immigrants are paying taxes. It's a different type of thing. It's like there's different visas that they apply for to come over, and I know that because here is a big agricultural hub, and I mean we get them by the busloads. You'll see them at Circle K or the Chevron because they stop there usually to and from the fields they work in, and they're here strictly on a working visa, which means they come in, they do their job, they go home at the end of the day. Those guys definitely pay taxes.
Okay,
and I'm talking.
What about this? Let me ask you this: if my mom and dad brought me over here illegally when I was 2 years old, and I didn't know anything, and I've lived here all my life, man, and you might not even, except for a slight accent, you might not even, know by the way I speak that I was Latino or whatever. Then do you think as an American who was born here and has citizenship, or at least, if you're born in the United States, you're a U.S. citizen, do you think now that should be taken away and I should go to Mexico or Guadalajara or someplace that I don't even know anything about? You might as well be putting me on Mars. Might as well be putting you there.
Right, okay.
And I was born here, and on top of that, my dad is a U.S. serviceman, and you're going to tell my wife, or you're going to tell my family to go back to Mexico, and I'm serving this country? Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Okay. So, Anthony, you asked him a question. De Herrera, what about that? What about what he just brought up?
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is kind of the angst I have with the left side of most arguments. It's a victimization of, that's a very terrible situation, and I don't wish it on anybody. But it is a situation that occurs. I mean, if your parents are here illegally and you were born on U.S. soil, yes, you are very much a U.S. citizen, and they very much are not. So that doesn't negate the fact that they are breaking the law by being here illegally. What it does is
what about
Wait. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so Anthony, you had a little run, right? Now as a moderator, I'm asking Steven, so he's gonna answer, and then you're gonna get your turn after, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Okay,
I'll try to wrap this up really quick. What I'm saying is that it's a very terrible situation for that child in the situation, or that person in the situation, but it's not the U.S. citizen. It's not the government that put him in that situation. It's their parents. It is the responsibility of the person that put them in that situation, and we have things in place for U.S. citizens that do not have parents. I mean, so they have two options. The parents can take them back to Mexico during deportation. I'm not entirely sure how deportation works. Or they go to an orphanage and stay in the U.S. as a U.S. citizen. It happens to plenty of U.S. citizens across the nation. It's not an ideal way of living by any means. But that is not the crux of the American people to fix every problem that somebody brings in on their family. We do what we can, how we can, but to mandate that we do something in a very specific way to pacify the victims it's a flawed way of thinking.
Okay. Now, Flanagan, what's your response to that?
Once again, I'll give you another one, and this is in response. I am born here. My parents brought me over here because where we were living were hell. I've heard the stories since I'm growing up. Now I'm a soldier in the U.S. Army, and I went over to Iraq, and I've served for my country. Now you're going to try to tell me? Well, come on, man. What are you going to tell me, brother? That I served for this country, and I served in Iraq. I might have got my arm blown off, and I'm supposed to go back to a place I've never known?
Why would you go back if you're a U.S. citizen?
Because I was born here and my parents weren't. And
that makes you a U.S. citizen and them not. They would be deported.
If you were brought over here, you go home. If you were brought over here, yeah. So you're talking about if you were brought over at a young age, but you were not born here? Yeah, I was. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm 2 years old when I got here. I'm a baby. And I've lived here all my life. I went to school here. I've been a good citizen. I never committed a crime. I served my country. I got my arm blew off, or at least I served my country. We don't have to go that far. Let's just say I'm a soldier. Now, I was U.S. for 5 years, so I did serve my country. So I'm okay. So I'm a victim of DACA now, and I'm your brother, and I served over there with you. And you want me to go back because of DACA? No, because I'll use the Filipinos in the Navy as a huge example. The Navy has a large Filipino population because they are using the Navy as a way to naturalize themselves. They do their service, and then they get an edge in on naturalization. So if you served and you don't try to naturalize yourself, that's bizarre. I don't even think it works that way. I think you might be able to for a certain extent, but at some point, naturalization becomes part of your service. So you would then be working towards a citizenship. Okay, what I'm getting... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's your turn, bro. Go for it.
What I'd like you to do, if you can, when you have time, man, on your own time, on the internet and look up that interview with Jimmy Kimmel. He interviewed a man who was a serviceman and had his wife, and she was pregnant. And there was some Trump supporters that was there on, a little... where they sit, and there was like about 8 of them or whatever, and he interviewed them with them not there. And he said, "What do you think about DACA?" And they were all like, "Yeah, they should go home. If they were brought over here, that's just like you said, Steve. That was the sentiment that they expressed." And then he said, "Can we bring one in?" They said, "Yeah, sure." And he brought those people in, and I think 2 or 3 of them they were perplexed. They were like, "Well, this is a different situation." And he's like, "Yeah, but okay, this is a different situation, but how many other extenuating circumstances are there?" And, and they were like, "Well, I'm going to have to reassess this." And then, of course, some of them were diehard, and they didn't want to hear it. They didn't care. And the kind of ironic part was, I think the guy who, and I might be making this up in my head, some of it. That's why I want you guys to look at this. Because I think the guy, ironically, that still stuck to his guns was actually a serviceman. So I think that what was kind of frustrating for me. But maybe, like I said, I don't have, all the facts. That's why I want you to refer to the video. Sure, I will definitely look that up.
Yeah, I saw that video. Service doesn't necessarily guarantee citizenship. That's not true.
Say again, Ben?
What I'm saying is service doesn't necessarily guarantee citizenship.
Yeah, see, that's my problem. That's not left or right. That's just an American. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a myth that people have. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to become a citizen because you've served.
Right. I don't know if I conveyed it that way. What I'm saying is usually if you're in the service, you start the naturalization process. There's actually a guy in my boot camp platoon that was there because he was starting his naturalization process. So I wasn't saying it was guaranteed. I mean, that's kind of accepted widely around the world. There's cross... what do they call it? Sorry, I'm at a loss for words. Where you can sign up for another country's service. A big one that the U.S. Cross utilizes is Australia. And, I mean, that doesn't make you an Australian citizen, but it doesn't stop you from serving in their service. And I know that one specifically because I was in Australia, and I thought that was really weird when I found that out. So, I mean, it does not guarantee citizenship, no, but it definitely helps you with the naturalization process, which to me is the bigger issue here that nobody's really addressing. Like, I do not agree with our naturalization process at all. I think a comprehensive immigration is kind of a key talking point that nobody's talking about because we want to play this victimhood thing. I think if naturalization, if citizenship was easier to attain, if it was cheaper to attain, if it was more comprehensive to attain, we wouldn't have good coming in with a bad. It would be less incentivized for good people to be coming over with obviously coyotes or cartel members. There's a very very specific demographic, at least from my experience, that comes over illegally, and it's because you want to avoid the law. You don't want to get caught. You want to bring in drugs or guns or whatever it is. And I mean, the MS-13, they were kind of a big deal when I was growing up due to the whole drug thing in Denver back then. But they are very much a very widespread cartel-funded gang. So to say that everything Trump says, I mean, you got to take almost everything everybody says with a grain of salt and do your own research. But there are very real criminals that do come over illegally because they do not want to be vetted. They don't want to go through a process to become naturalized citizens because then it exposes the deeds that they're doing here. And that's, I think, the fear that everybody likes to talk about, or that the left likes to talk about, that people want to get rid of. They don't want that here. I mean, there's nothing good that comes from a cartel funded gang or from drugs and guns being smuggled across the border.
Anthony,
or human trafficking.
Anthony,
Yeah.
how from your perspective, because Steve brings up a good point, how from your perspective do you protect us from traffickers, MS-13, cartel? How do you protect us from your perspective with the way that you're handling our border?
Well, they're doing it now. I mean, you can build the biggest wall that you can. People are criminals are smart. I just watched a program not long ago where they were hiding it. Obviously we all know, in the tires and putting deer piss and stuff on it or something, and not and hiding it up under the dashes. I mean, they're going to do it. They do it now, and they even ask them, like, you didn't check that truck. And he goes, well, no, we can't check all of them. Oh, and their things were down. Their damn little their X-ray was down.
Okay, so
X-ray the trucks to go through.
Okay, so wouldn't logic dictate then? Aren't you? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Aren't you making the argument for Steve in the sense of we need more security at the border, not less, and we need to be more discriminating and not less?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you can interrupt me. That's fine.
Okay. Here's the thing, and here's what I get into it about the right-wingers about that are total Trump supporters. They won't give a little bit and say, you know what? What about a path to citizenship? Let's not just say, and see, that's what I don't like about Trump. He always fear-mongers, so he makes everybody think it's racist, man. It's straight up racist. You're saying that you put it in the head, and he says things over and over and over again like it's a mantra, and people get that stuck in their head. So all they think about is Mexicans, MS-13. MS-13 is coming. They're all MS-13 gang members, see? And it goes back to my point. No one remembers that a lot of these people, probably the majority of them, are seeking asylum from the cartel. So, okay, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but this is where I come in with legalization across the states federally about marijuana. Take the power away from the cartels. You don't want them coming over here? Take the power away. Legalize marijuana. You can't say, well, I want to get rid of the cartels, but I'm against legalizing marijuana. Well, then there you go. Then, it's not going to stop all of it, but it'll stop a hell of a lot of it.
So do we legalize cocaine and heroin also? I mean, marijuana has been legalized in Colorado, Washington,
that's a stupid argument. Marijuana is not like cocaine, but like Joe Rogan said, it's up there
Okay.
with cocaine.
Whoa. We're going off. Wait, guys. I just wanted to give you a chance to clarify, Anthony. You're not saying that everybody who is very concerned about our borders is racist. You're not saying that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, brothers. Thank you very much. It was a very left everybody with a lot to think about. Thank you both. I appreciate you.
All right, Steve. I love you, brother. Thanks a lot. That was a great debate, man.
Hey, thank you. Gave me some homework to go look at, and yeah, it was fun, man. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
Excellent.
Nice.
This is how This is how we do it.
Yep.
Not this craziness. People yelling at each other. All this
right.
craziness. Although somebody raise your voice, I wouldn't necessarily be against it. Okay. Yeah, the migration question is very, very, very interesting to me because I do think MS-13 and trafficking is a major issue, and I'm very uncomfortable with the idea that we don't have enough security to be able to discriminate between the two. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me that stereotypically Democrats have a problem with increasing border security, which would then give us the resources by which to make those types of discriminations of this is a sign of a person being trafficked. This is probably the telltale sign of a person in MS-13, to be able to make those distinctions. On the other side, I just have a very hard time saying tough shit. You grew up in America, but your dad brought you here illegally, so you get to choose between going to a place you've never lived before or an orphanage.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Legalize all drugs. The state should not regulate what substances people want to put into your bodies. The state does not own you. Yikes. Okay, I need somebody to get online and explain to me why Alex Jones has just been completely blacked out from all forms of social media. Hello?
What shall we call you?
Well, I don't know what, well, Camel, that's not censorship. Salam alaikum, ya Afshar. Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hey, Vin. How's it going?
What's going on? What's your name, sir?
My name's Gary.
Okay, Gary. I mean, I saw your name, but why are you calling me?
Well, on the chat, I'm the Beast, 1981.
All right.
Okay.
The Beast. Okay, go for it.
First, let me just start out by saying I am a conservative, but I do have a couple left-leaning opinions. One of them is gay marriage. I believe gay people should be allowed to get married. It doesn't affect anybody's life any, so I don't see why it matters.
Okay.
The second one would be abortion. I only believe in abortion in two circumstances, and that is if the woman was raped or if there are medical complications.
Okay, why don't you believe in abortion in the other circumstances?
Because it's just flat out murder. I mean, if we're, when it comes to like NASA exploring planets and stuff, we look at microorganisms as life. But why don't we do that here on Earth? Here on Earth, it's like a baby has to be almost born before it's considered a life. And
it just doesn't seem right to me. Like, it's a life at conception in my eyes. I mean, as soon as the egg is fertilized, that's a life, and when you kill it, that's murder. If a pregnant woman is killed, the person that killed that woman is charged with double homicide.
Okay, but I'm trying to follow your logic here. You don't like abortion in most cases because you think it's murder of a human being.
Yes.
But you're okay with abortion in the instance of the life of the mother because your goal is to preserve life, and so you're faced basically with an impossible choice. So you're trying to do your best to preserve life.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense to me. The rape thing, though, doesn't make sense to me from that perspective. Why are you, I'm just using your language. Why are you murdering the child because of what his father did?
Well, you're not murdering the child because of what the father did. You're murdering the child because the mother should not have to go through that when it wasn't her choice to get pregnant.
Was it the baby's choice to be conceived?
No, it wasn't.
So why are you... So it seems to me that you're creating more victims.
No, not at all. There's absolutely a lot more babies that are murdered where the mother wasn't raped versus the mother that was raped.
Okay, so it's okay if the baby is murdered if their mother is raped.
Yes.
That makes sense to you?
Well, no, it doesn't. But that's just how I believe. Like, that's just me.
What about after the baby's born? Let's say the mother says, well, let's see. If the baby looks like me, then I'll be okay. But if the baby looks like the dad, then we should kill it. What about that?
Then no.
Why not?
Well, because the baby is already born. Like, why would you kill it after it's born?
Well, weren't you just saying that you were upset because it's almost like the baby has to be born before it's safe?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if a baby has to be close to birth, before you can't have an abortion, then that just doesn't make sense to me, because to find life on another planet, it takes something as small as a microorganism.
But I want you to think this through with me, because I think we're missing something. What you're saying is, even in the case of rape, if the baby's born, we should not kill it.
If the baby is born, yes.
But if the baby is not born, we should be able to kill it in that case.
Yes.
And that makes you don't see any logical contradictions there at all.
No, to me that makes perfect sense.
Okay, what ontologically, and when I say ontologically, I mean the nature of the child is a Homo sapien. We agree it's a human being?
Yes.
What changes in utero to ex utero? So in utero, they're in the womb, you're saying we can kill it. But then ex utero, outside of the womb, you're saying we can't kill it. What changes in the nature of the child that makes it so that we can kill one and not the other?
Well, for one, survivability. Depending on the age of the human, the fetus, whatever you want to call it, depending on the age of it while the mother is pregnant, it can't survive on its own anyway.
Well, isn't that the same thing that people that want abortions because they went to a party, isn't that the exact same argument they make?
No, absolutely not. If you went to a party and you got pregnant, that's your fault. You weren't raped.
No. I'm asking you because you just made the viability argument. And what I'm saying is, isn't that the exact same argument that they use?
No, I don't see how it is.
It is. I've talked to many of them.
Maybe I'm not understanding you.
What I'm saying is the argument that you just used to justify killing a child who was a product of rape is literally the exact same argument that people who went to a party used to justify killing that child.
All right, well, what kind of reasoning other people use, that's not my problem.
Well, sure it is if you're trying to mount a rational defense of your position. Then
that's just my position. I'm not out there advocating and trying to change laws and say that should be law. I'm just saying that's my belief.
All right, so I'm going to make a statement. You tell me if it's true or false.
Okay.
we should be able to kill a child if their father is a rapist in the womb. We should not be able to kill a child if their father is a rapist outside of the womb.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you went through the entire pregnancy and had the baby, then why should you be able to kill it?
Well, because it was a product of rape.
I understand that, but that's why the abortion should have happened while the woman was pregnant.
Well, who are you to dictate? Who are you to dictate that? You're not in her situation.
Okay.
So how could you say that? On what basis are you saying that? That seems like an arbitrary goalpost to me.
Because that's my belief.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be. It's not right or wrong. That's just what I believe.
Well, you use the term murder. That's a pretty harsh word, right? And so if you use the term murder, you can't go back and say, well, that's just my personal belief, unless you're saying that people have the right to murder other people.
Well, they do right now, don't they? That's what abortion is. So people do have the right to murder another person.
Okay. It seemed to me that you were saying that that was wrong in most circumstances other than rape, but it doesn't seem that you have a very rational defense for your allowance for rape in your argumentation.
I didn't have an allowance for rape. I don't know where you got that from.
I said an allowance for abortion in the case of rape.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is your allowance for abortion in the case of rape doesn't seem very logically consistent to me.
But why not?
Because literally any argument that you could posit for killing a child who is a product of rape, you're essentially creating two victims. One is the victim is the mother, and then the second victim would be the child that you just said we murdered.
Okay, so are you would you say you're pro-choice or pro-life?
Well, I'm pro-life. I think a lot of people know that. I think we should love our neighbor as ourselves. I also think that the guy that did the rape should be put away forever. I think he should be the one that becomes the victim. I think in that situation we want to create as little victims as we possibly can. And so killing the child because his father is a rapist to me just doesn't seem very logically consistent or very just.
Okay, I can understand that.
However,
I completely agree with you about the rapist, the father rapist should be absolutely should be the victim.
Right.
So I mean,
so if you
I've honestly never said this in my life before, but you're actually starting to change my mind.
Well, I mean, I appreciate your honesty, my man. I think I think for me, and here's the thing, I've talked to girls, women who have had abortions, and there's so many complications. One girl, she was being trafficked, and she got pregnant, and her prices were going to go down, so her boyfriend was basically shoving her into the clinic. Another one, her dad basically we're going to disown you. There are a whole host of reasons why girls get abortions. So I've cried with too many of these girls to judge any of them, right?
Right.
And I think I've also in our particular area, I don't know if there's any girl we ran into who wasn't a victim of sexual assault. I mean, almost every girl we ran into was a victim of sexual assault, and so I'm very, and some of them, a lot of them had abortions, and there was one young lady that we knew that didn't. She kept the child even though that, and God's grace, she ended up loving the child, and things went well in that particular circumstance. But I also know a story of a woman who had two kids. One of them was a product of rape, and I watched how she treated her sons, and the one that was a product of rape, she was always angry at him. Always.
Right.
So it's not a simple solution at all. I have no judgments whatsoever for the woman in the situation, no matter what she does.
Right.
I have a lot of judgments for the guy that does that, obviously, right? And those are issues those are issues that I have to deal with in my own heart, because my view of the world is that everybody needs God's grace, right? And so even though he did something as horrible as that, I shouldn't have that in my mind. It's just so much, it just so happens that we deal so much with the women and the aftermath of the choices that they have to make, because the women get wrecked on no matter what their decision they make is.
Right, absolutely.
But ultimately for me, it's like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is it a Homo sapien? Yes. To your point, if it's a Homo sapien and we're killing it, and we're not killing it to preserve the life of the mother, then we're killing it for a reason that in my mind is impossible to justify.
Right, I can agree with that.
So I appreciate your honesty. So we'll talk some more.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Alex Jones. Does anybody know about Alex Jones? Can somebody call in and school me on what is going on with Alex Jones?
Troy wants to know if that was the girl's name.
Which one? No. What does Sori think?
Oh, I just told Jeremy. For me, it's like hard to even believe that we live that I'm alive during this time where we're killing this many babies. And I think that a woman who gets raped and has the child anyway, like, I think that would be extremely difficult, like you said, even especially if the child looks like the man. And I think that if she can, she should try to keep that child, and I think that child would, probably bless her in ways that she would never have expected. But if she can't, and it's too much for her emotionally, then I know lots of people that are trying to have children and are not able to have children. So if she could put that child up for adoption. There's some people that are in situations where it's nearly impossible for them to raise the child in the situation where they're at. We had somebody in the chat that said they were 14 when they got a girl pregnant, but they kept the baby, and she's 30 years old now. So I don't think that killing a child should ever be an option, and it to me seems barbaric. I'm very surprised that in this modern age we're still doing this.
Well, most people don't know what the actual procedure is.
The procedure is unbelievable if you read it, and I think that there are lots of times where girls are pressured into it, because I saw it multiple times where girls were pressured into it, and I think that it's one of those things that once you do, if you like, it can't be reversed. So other things in life that we do, and then you change your mind, you're like, shoot, I shouldn't have done that. Like, I talked to girls that got raped and then they aborted their child, and after it was like they not only, you never forget the rape, it doesn't matter, like for all your days you're gonna remember that event, but now not only remembering that rape, she now has the murder of her child connected to it. And that was the words that she used. Like, it was hard for her to even bear that was the next step that she took, but she was in a very emotional state, and she was trying to somehow separate herself from what had happened to her, and the connection of the child growing in her womb like made her feel still connected to that situation. So like, I can understand it, but what it did is it just ended up making, like, she was very sad by it, because she was like, wait, that child was still a part of me. It wasn't just him, he did something, but it wasn't just him. It was also, there was a part of her in that child. And so she always had that connection for all of her days. And then there's other times where it's just not the right timing, or somebody's in school, and so they abort the child for that reason. And then there's this, I knew this woman where she was like, my kid would be 5 now. They would be starting school. The school buses are going around, and they're thinking that's how, there's all these markers, when you see people graduating high school or weddings and stuff, when your child would be about marrying age, all of those memories you do away with. So it's just, it's sad. And I feel bad for the people that like have the abortion and then regret it after. And like, I know how like the heaviness of bearing like things that we do to other people can weigh heavy on your soul. And so to have to bear the weight of that, I think is a very, very heavy burden. And that's why, as Christians, we're like, okay, there's forgiveness for even that, like, you know, like there's forgiveness for. So I'm grateful for that. But I think that, you know, when we try to call it something else, like we said before, or, you know, like when they called the Jews Untermenschen, or, you know, called black people niggers and stuff, so that way you could make it so that way you could treat them or do things to them. I don't see this is anything different.
And it's very interesting. I want, because I know that it's a very hot button issue, but I want people to think this through. You start calling a fetus a parasite.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that in the chat.
Yeah.
And like, this is why I want us to really think through what we're doing and what we're saying and what words we're using. You don't even have to agree with what our perspective is, because I know most of us probably disagree with. I mean, it's a medical community. Okay, fine. But why are people going as far as calling these human beings parasites? What does that remind you of? When has that happened in history? See, this is a thing that gets me. It's like, whoa, hey, like every generation has their issue, and it's like the previous. You always look back and judge the previous generation,
right?
And it's like, let's stop ourselves for a second and say, you better make damn sure. And even if people say it's a gray area, well, if it's a gray area, you better make damn sure that when the next generation shows up, you can look your grandkids in the eye and say you're on the right side of history.
Right.
Like, because we're so quick to judge every other generation and every other geographical location. And I agree with you, Alec. You have a bunch of so-called pro-life people who blindly support war. And not only support war, but want war. I agree with you on that. I think that there's a very fair criticism, and I believe that's against the ethic. I'll do you one better. What about the death penalty? I personally, as a person who's pro-life, even though they took a life, I don't believe we should kill that guy. Because I'm pro-life. Of course, what's strange is that a lot of people who identify as pro-life, we have to admit, they're good with the death penalty.
Yeah. No, they want the death penalty.
The death. And I had somebody tell me that I wasn't a Christian because I'm against the death penalty.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're in love with war. They're in love with the death penalty. So I mean, I'm with you. I get it. I get that. I get that for sure.
I think too that it's very curious how. I think it's very curious how when somebody is pregnant, it doesn't matter. As soon as they find out they're pregnant, if the woman wants the child, we immediately start celebrating. Congratulations, your baby, and we start calling it baby, baby, baby. But when somebody has, you know, or wants to get an abortion, we call it a fetus. Like, why are we calling it two different things depending on whether the woman wants the child or not? Like, If it's a fetus, then it's a fetus across the board, and we shouldn't even congratulate the woman for just a pile of cells. But you do see it as a child because you know that it's the small beginnings, but it's got its own DNA strand, and this child is growing into something. And we've had these discussions before where we've said, would we have, so emotional for me, would we have a cure for cancer by now? Like, how many things would we have been able to cure? Would we have solved world hunger if we hadn't have, you know, murdered thousands of babies that all had minds of their own, that who knows what we could have accomplished by now. But we don't have those minds anymore, you know? So that makes me sad too, like, but, you know. And I don't get me wrong, like, if you've had an abortion, like, I don't judge you for that, because I know that there are situations that people find themselves in, and, you know, you may regret it later, or, you know, whatever, but, like, I don't judge you for it. I want you to find healing for that, because I think if we have an honest look at it and we speak to ourselves honestly, or in the quiet of the night when no one else is talking to us, we have to face ourselves. And I believe that God speaks to us in those moments. So, you know, there is forgiveness. Thank you, Pony. I'll take the hug. And I knew a girl that like a lot of times people bring up the rape thing and they'll say, well, what about for rape and stuff? That literally makes up 1% of all abortions. It's less than 1%. Literally less than 1%. And that's, where's that information from.
Go to the CDC.
Yeah.
I mean, that's well known.
So it's less than 1%. The majority of them is not that. And like, I knew a girl that was having multiple abortions. Like, she wasn't trying to get on any kind of birth control. She was just like, I'll just have an abortion, after. So I think that's not good,
Good job. So that's what she thinks of it. Yes, Danny, we are married. Okay. So Alex Jones, somebody call me and tell me what the heck happened with Alex Jones. Because people are saying it's censorship. I'm not sure that that's censorship. Because Facebook and Twitter are, and I think Apple Music, I mean, they're their own companies. They're not the government. They can say...
Oh, that was...
They can determine, what their standards are. But he just got blacked out of nowhere. Well, Ragin, why don't you...
remember what he did.
Ragin, why don't you call me? Somebody call me up.
Okay, you got to go to Skype. Vin and is one word, and then Sori. But you got to download Skype first.
Not according to section 242. Okay, somebody call me up, please, and let's have this discussion. Alex Jones was inciting violence. Vin and...
Oh, that's why people keep saying space, sorry. I didn't know. Thank you, Kyle. We all love you, sorry.
I'm tempted to have Alec call me up. Alec, call me up. Let people remember.
Who names their kid Vin and? Why did you
Hello,
space
good
it like
people.
that when you put our names up there?
I have my reasons.
Ooh.
What about the New York Times writer who bashed the white community on multiple tweets and wasn't banned from Twitter? That's a good point. Well, Camel, the only way that would work, I take it back. The only way that would work is if the New York Times person was what are you calling it? Was like threatening people.
Yeah. Alex said he needs to eat more tendies first. No, he said give him 2 minutes.
The left incites more violence. What are you talking about? What violence has the left incited? That's a good point. You can't be a capitalist and be against a private company controlling what they allow on their platforms. That's a good point. I'm not sure that that's censorship.
What is censorship? Maybe I don't know what that word means.
Like, it's when they're regulating your speech.
Oh, the government
they're trying to
regulates
shut
it.
down your free speech. Like, you get the First Amendment for your free speech rights, and they're
okay.
trying to censor it.
Okay.
So people are saying that Jones is censored, but the thing is that Twitter and Facebook and YouTube are not government organizations. At least I don't think. Dun, dun, dun.
What did we find out?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's your name, sir?
This is Sori. I always like to tell them because they obviously know.
Hi, I got... Caleb. This is Caleb.
Okay, what's up?
For some reason, I'm not getting your audio through my Skype. I just want to call and talk to you guys about Alex Jones.
Okay, go for it.
Turn your speaker on.
Are you on speaker?
So I agree with what you're saying that... Yeah, I got my headphones. I'm actually getting your audio through the video, so...
Yeah, so it's going to be
it's
delayed.
like 30 seconds here.
Well, are you using the speaker?
Maybe let me try to deal with it, and I'll try calling back.
That's a good plan. I'm going to hang up on him.
Yeah, because the delay. But he sounded like he had something to say, so I hope he calls back. When there was like that long lag, I'm like, what is happening?
What is happening? Somebody call me up about Alex Jones. I need answers. Okay, LDK, what do you want to talk about? Is this my guy?
I think that's your work.
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Alec?
Oh.
Did you tell me to call you up, right?
Yeah. Are you were you mid salad? Mid tendy?
No, he wasn't. I was joking.
I might have been.
Alec, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When we have an abortion, when a person has an abortion, what is being aborted?
At what stage?
21 weeks. You can do that 21 weeks in Maine. What are we aborting at 21 weeks?
That's actually a very good range because that's about what I would call the cutoff point for me personally. But I would still call it a fetus just because it will match the medical definition of that.
What is a fetus?
I don't have a book right in front of me, but from what I remember, it's a unhatched or unborn vertebrate.
An unhatched what?
Second half of the second trimester.
Is it an unhatched chicken?
No, you asked for the medical definition, so I gave it.
What is it? You said it's an unhatched something.
Or unborn vertebrate. It extends to all in that family.
So you study genetics, right?
I mean, I know genetics, but I work in proteomics, which is the study of proteins.
What species is being aborted?
Homo sapiens.
It's a Homo sapien.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm asking you this because you actually are a scientist.
Yes.
I'm just some bum who barely graduated high school. You're an actual scientist. So you're saying on the record that what we are aborting is a Homo sapien. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you're saying the cutoff point for you is 21 weeks.
I would give it a range between 20 and 22 weeks just because of various physiological changes that would occur in that period.
Okay. So when you said you don't want the government to regulate uteruses, you weren't being completely honest, were you? Because you do want them to regulate uteruses around 21, 22 weeks.
Past that, yes, but again, it's no longer a fetus at that point. I don't remember if I used the word uterus or regulating fetal development. I don't remember exactly which one it was.
I'm looking, bro. You said uterus. Do you realize that Planned Parenthood and the National Organization for Women would vehemently disagree with you?
I mean, I don't care if they do or not.
Okay.
I'm only speaking for myself, not for a greater majority or anything like that.
Okay. Isn't it true? So your cutoff is 20, 21 weeks, 22 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, so 20 weeks is okay.
Again, that's pushing it. I would prefer to go on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I can explain the changes that would set me off at that point. But earlier than that, definitely. Around that, probably not. Past that, definitely not.
Probably not. So I just wanted to stand that we're talking about a human being here. And you're okay with probably, maybe, like you're good with that.
I mean, we're using the word human being kind of loosely here.
I'm not.
What makes a human, in your opinion?
What do you mean what makes a human a human? I didn't know that we had a disagreement. You said it was a Homo sapien. Are you saying that there are different classes of Homo sapiens?
I can look at you and I can easily tell you're human, but if you give me a zygote or any early form of development, and I'm looking down on a petri dish, I cannot look at that and say it's a human.
Okay, that's your perception. We're not gonna make existential judgments by your optical perception. My question was, is it a Homo sapien? You agreed with me. Homo sapiens are human beings, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why are you contesting the idea that I said it was a human being when you just told me it was a Homo sapien?
I mean, clearly it will become a human being, but I don't look at a seed and call it a tree.
Okay, so there are some Homo sapiens who are more human than others, is what you're saying.
Further along in development, yes.
Well, sure, but even after a baby's born, he's got a bunch of development to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can go into the parts of the physiological change at that point where I would cut it off. So things like enhanced consciousness, the ability to sense pain, which is why I would put my cutoff at that point.
Are you honestly arguing that we know definitively that a baby doesn't feel pain at 15 weeks?
Yes.
You know that definitively. So please source me the medical journal that has made that assertion.
All right, I'll do it later. I don't have a computer in front of me.
Okay. And look, if you source me that, I'll say it on the next fireside.
All right.
But isn't it true, Alec, that
it deals with the fusion of the spinal thalamic tract, which enhances nociceptoral receptors, which is how you feel pain.
it enhances it, I agree. But isn't it true, Alec, that if I put you under anesthesia and shot you, that you would feel no pain?
The difference there is that you're administering a drug to suppress the sympathetic nervous system. It still functions properly.
So, what does that have to do with anything? You're making the basis as
No,
whether or
it's the
not...
false equivalency. You don't insert chemicals into the body of the fetus to suppress their nervous system past,
Well, you're...
before the 20-week mark.
Don't you realize how arbitrary that marker is? You're saying if the child can't feel pain, then it's open season to kill him?
No, well, I said it's a combination of factors. And it's not arbitrary when we know the evidence as to when spinal thalamic fusion occurs.
Okay, as a scientist, you know that scientists always make new discoveries, right?
Yes.
Are you saying it's impossible that 10 years from now a scientist will make a discovery that a child can in fact feel pain at 10 weeks? Is that completely impossible?
No, it's definitely possible, but I'm working with the evidence that we have now.
Okay. So
I highly doubt it will be a drastic change in the data.
So first of all, I think the argument that the child can feel pain at 21 weeks, therefore we shouldn't be able to kill it, is a spurious, arbitrary argument. But let's go with it for a second. You're okay with saying we should be able to kill this human being because based on what we know now, they can't feel pain, even though later on it could be that we discover we've killed millions of them and they could feel pain.
Can you give me an example?
Well, you just said that 10 years from now, we could make a discovery that the child could feel pain at 10 weeks. Which would mean that when we made that, if we make that discovery, we could have potentially have killed 10 million of these kids. And then what would we say then? Oops.
Okay, but the thing is I think it's pretty apparent that we're not going to make a discovery stating that spinal thalamic fusion occurs at 10 weeks. We know it occurs within the 20 to 22 week range.
Okay, so
the earliest it's ever been observed is at 19 weeks.
So, but you
and
said
that's following thousands.
So what you're saying is there are some Homo sapiens who are more human than other Homo sapiens.
I'm stating that there are different stages of development at which I would base the ability to have an abortion. Things like consciousness, sentience, self-awareness, and pain reception.
Isn't it true that when a child is born, that he is not as conscious as consciously developed as when he's 5 years old?
Yes, but he's still conscious and has sentience, self-awareness, and can feel pain.
Are you familiar with Francesca Minerva?
No.
She's a bioethicist. This is her discipline. And she wrote a piece in 2010 entitled "Why Should the Baby Live?" And in that piece, she argued that because a child doesn't have a developed concept of the future, that we should be able to kill the child after it's born. So her goalpost is after birth because they don't have a fully developed concept of the future. Your goalpost is 19, 20, 21-ish weeks. We're not particularly sure. And that's based on pain receptors. How are you different from Francesca Minerva?
Well, her argument can be extended further into late 20s regarding development of the frontal temporal lobe.
I agree. That's why I'm
stating base consciousness and base self-awareness.
Okay.
And basal pain receptance.
So those Homo sapiens are less valuable than those who are fully developed.
No, I'm stating the state at that point should not determine what is human and at what point a woman can abort up to a certain.
Well, you just said that they should be able to determine after 21 weeks.
Yes, because of what I base. I'm speaking for myself. That's what I believe.
Yeah, so you do believe the state should determine when a woman should be able to have an abortion.
Yes, because I think things like consciousness and self-awareness are fairly essential to the human experience.
Okay, so the only difference between you and I is where the goalpost is. So I have a conception goalpost, you have a 21-week goalpost, and Francesca Minerva has, I think it's 3 weeks after they're born goalpost. That's the only difference between the three of us.
Yes.
Okay. So then that was all rhetoric when you were saying we shouldn't regulate uteruses, because you do believe we should regulate uteruses. It just depends on...
To a certain extent, yes.
Okay. So that was all rhetoric. Okay. I'll let you have the last word.
All right. So I think my initial comment also included things like the death penalty, because I just don't think the state should be telling them what to do with their bodies or executing its citizens, starting wars, things like that. And going back to earlier, even telling you what substances you should or should not put into your body.
So I'm with you on I'm with you on the war thing. I'm with you on the death penalty. So I don't think I'm with you on the drug thing, and I'll tell you right now that I'm just being emotional. And I'll tell you why. Because and we've said it in videos, you know, we worked with these people all downtown with fentanyl and heroin is just ravaging our city, right? And it's literally killing people. It's killing people that we know. And so I don't want that to be legal. What would you say to me when I say, I think like in the last month, Alec, heroin killed more people than guns. So what would you say to me? How would you respond to that?
Does making something illegal stop people from doing it?
Repeat that question, because I think it's an important question.
Does making something illegal stop people from doing it?
Yeah, but if I say no, Alec, it doesn't, then you say, okay, so then what's the point? But but couldn't we apply that to murder?
No, because murder involves one party harming another. Taking a drug involves one party harming themselves, and that's no concern of mine.
No, you're completely wrong. What about the little girl who watches her father die of a drug overdose right in front of her? You're saying that doesn't affect anybody?
I mean, she's not physically harmed at that point. Again, if it is still illegal.
Do you know
he's not going to take that drug if he's a heroin junkie?
Do you know statistically what happens to kids? Statistically, what happens to kids whose parents are hooked on heroin? It absolutely has physical ramifications for them. Like, I'm not sure that making heroin illegal is a solution, because heroin is currently illegal in Maine and people are dying in droves. So I see your point, but I think what I'm trying to figure out is the logic of, if you make something illegal, it doesn't matter because people are going to do it anyway. It can be extended to any crime, couldn't it?
No.
So there is a certain crime that people stop doing once it becomes illegal?
No, I'm saying there should be certain deterrents. When one party is committing a violent crime on another is different than somebody putting a substance into their body. That should be a no concern of the state. So I don't think the war on drugs is particularly helpful, arresting people, putting them in jail, spending hundreds of billions a year of taxpayer dollars, people who are committing non-violent crimes, instead of just, treating drug addiction as a disease and not a crime.
Okay, I disagree with you that dealing heroin is not a violent crime. That's a violent crime to me. Let me ask you this question. Should it be legal for us to give heroin to a 7-year-old?
Yes.
It should be legal to give heroin to a 7-year-old.
Illegal. I thought you said illegal.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? Okay, so it should be illegal to give it to a 7-year-old. Why? Why should it be illegal? It's not a violent crime.
Because a 7-year-old cannot give informed consent.
Say again?
A 7-year-old cannot give informed consent over their body.
What do you mean they can't give informed consent over their body?
They can't consent to sex. They cannot consent to having alcohol. They cannot.
What about a 12-year-old?
No.
Have you ever met my son?
No.
You're completely wrong. He can absolutely give informed consent about what he wants to put into his body. How can you, let me ask you a question, because you're a scientist. Are you actually saying that scientifically you can prove definitively that a 12-year-old couldn't make that decision?
No.
You can't, can you?
Disconnect between applications of scientific theories and putting it into law. Because clearly, okay, the drinking age in America is 21. The difference in maturity and knowledge and general wiseness in 21 is a very long range of people. Yet everybody at that age can drink.
Yeah, but you're a libertarian, right?
More or less.
So isn't it consistent with libertarian ideals that the drinking age is way too high? I mean, aren't minors still citizens?
I mean, I think it is. I think 18 would be a better age because, I mean, they're going to drink it anyway, honestly. I was 18 once. I mean...
Okay, so stay with me. The logic is that 18-year-old is going to drink it anyway, therefore we should lower the rate. Isn't the 16-year-old going to drink it anyway?
Again, we're just going to a slippery slope because I already admitted there's a disconnect between the application of scientific theories and knowledge. I mean, we could
I just don't think
you just go on a case-by-case basis, which would be the most effective way, but you can't do that in law.
I just don't think you're being logically consistent. On the one hand, you say we should make it 18 because 18-year-olds are going to drink anyway. And then when I apply that logic to 16-year-olds, then it's a different story.
Because you're taking it just down a general slippery slope.
Well, you're the one that made the slippery slope because you're the one that said they're going to do it anyway, so we should legalize it. That was your argument. So if that's the argument, I'm just applying it across the board.
All right, so let me turn it around. What do you think the drinking age should be in the U.S.?
I think the drinking age should be the same age that you could go to war at. So if you can go to war at 17, 18 years old and die for your country, then I think it's silly to say that, oh, we care about you, you can't drink.
So
that's
do you
my
think
logic.
People who are 15 should be able to join the military?
Well, I mean, I'm a pacifist, so I don't want anybody joining the military.
But do you think people who aren't pacifists should be able to join the military at 15?
Well, they did back in the day.
We're not back in the day.
Well, sure. I mean, look, if you're... Here's the thing. My son at 12 years old is extremely intelligent and very well developed cognitively speaking. He makes very, very informed decisions. So if he at 15 years old said, Dad, I'm going to jihad, and it was legal, I would tell him I didn't want him to do it for religious reasons. But as far as the argument that he's not developed enough to make that decision, I think that's ridiculous. But we're straying from the point. My point is, I don't understand. And like I said, I'm probably being emotional here. I don't understand how you could say heroin is not a form of violence, considering what it does to people.
Would you also consider alcohol to be a form of...
Well, no, because I think alcohol can be used properly or abused. Heroin cannot be used properly.
How do you use alcohol properly?
Well, you drink it in moderation. You don't get ossified drunk and destroy your liver.
I mean, but even in small quantities, alcohol is at the very least slightly bad for you.
Red wine is pretty healthy, I heard. I mean, you're the scientist.
It's not the alcohol in red wine that's healthy for you.
Well, that's fine. What I'm saying is you can drink alcohol moderately and live to a ripe old age. There is no way to moderately use heroin.
Because it's much more highly addictive. In which case, we're just classifying things based on their addicts.
No, it's not. No, it's... Have you seen a person take a hit of heroin? Have you ever seen that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen somebody take a swig of beer?
Yes.
Okay, so the guy who takes a hit of heroin and the guy who takes a swig of beer, completely different effects, right?
Up to a certain degree. I mean, you can get blackout drunk. You can get a general...
You can't get blackout drunk on a swig of beer. You can get blacked out on a one hit of heroin. I mean, let's be honest here, because I'm actually trying to figure something out here. Let's not play games. Obviously, there's a difference, Alec, between a swig of beer and a hit of heroin, right? We agree with that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is there's no way to moderately use heroin. Like if I had a kid, do you have any kids?
No.
Okay, well, let's say you had a kid, right? Like, would you and you open the fridge, right, and you see a 6-pack in his fridge? Would you freak out? Would you lose your mind?
Probably not.
Okay, and then you open his dashboard or whatever in his car, and you see all this heroin fall out. Would you lose your mind?
Yes.
Okay, then they're not the same thing.
I never said that it was the same thing.
They're not even the same stratosphere. So what I'm saying is, how are you defining violence? Because to me it seems like it's an inherently violent drug as far as the effects that it has on the body in a very short period of time.
I'm using violence as a definition by the act of somebody committing physical harm upon another person.
What about mustard gas?
What about it?
I mean, that's a poison, right? Like it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that counts as violence, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so couldn't I make the argument that heroin is a form of chemical warfare?
I mean, can you administer chemical warfare to yourself?
Of
Sounds
course.
like a very odd.
Say again? Say that again.
Can you administer chemical warfare on yourself? Sounds like a kind of odd declaration of war.
Well, what I'm saying is these guys who are...
Didn't we just agree to not go down a slippery slope, yet you're comparing a drug to chemical warfare?
No, because what I'm saying is the dichotomy between chemical warfare and heroin I don't think exists, because I've seen people die from it. And I'm putting my cards on the table. I'm probably emotional about it, but it seems to me that people don't realize how devastating these chemicals actually are.
I mean, people dying from it is not a reason to have a war on drugs. People die from alcohol, people die from heroin, people die from mustard gas, people die from eating too much food saturated with fat. Far more than from heroin.
What? People die from mustard gas far more than heroin? What are you talking about?
No. I said people, obesity-related heart disease.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So what are we going to do? We're going to outlaw Burger King and McDonald's because...
No, I'm not the one advocating for outlawing anything. That's you.
Well, no, I'm talking out loud because I'm saying that you're making... That's a good point. Because then it's like, oh, so heroin will kill somebody in like a year or two, but McDonald's will kill somebody, over a span of 30 years. But McDonald's, there's a more... Say again?
And far more people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a higher net death rate from McDonald's and Pizza Hut. It just depending on how far you widen the scale versus heroin.
Like Vin got.
So you can't. What are you gonna do? You're gonna outlaw McDonald's? I don't think so. So you're good with, but here's the thing though, Alec. Here's the problem with your logic. A 6-year-old can go into McDonald's and get a burger, can he?
Yes.
So then, aren't you being logically inconsistent by saying a 6-year-old shouldn't be able to ingest heroin? Because you're making the argument that McDonald's is more lethal than heroin. So how could you say that a 6-year-old shouldn't be able to ingest heroin?
I would state that because heroin has more immediate effects. And that is just based only on that. Because, we're willing to accept things that kill us in the long run. And not things that are more immediately threatening as a society.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the potentiality for lethality is so dangerous that you'd rather the kid's got a much better chance of living through a McDonald's drive-thru than through a heroin shot.
Yes, because you can change your lifestyle.
Okay, so then you just concede
fatty foods than by taking heroin.
Okay, so then you've just conceded that it's a form of it's a form of violence then because you're worried about lethality.
No, lethality is not synonymous with violence.
So you can kill somebody non-violently. They
can kill themselves.
That's just semantics.
Or am I anyone to eat at McDonald's every day of their life?
That's just semantics to me at that point. Non-violent lethality. I don't know. I think you have a good point. Let me ask you this question, Alec, because I think we probably both want the same outcome. I'm sure we do. What do you think the solution is for our heroin epidemic?
That's a very long question to answer because there's so many variables at play, and I don't think anyone really has a perfect solution to the opioid epidemic in America. I think one of the better things to do would be just treat drug addiction as a disease and not as a crime. I don't think people should be locked away for 10, 15, 20 years for using drugs. I don't think the war on drugs is very effective in any way. I think it tears apart families more than it does helping people.
Didn't LePage...
The opioid epidemic.
I think our governor declared like a state of emergency or something like that last year.
Yep, I remember that.
Because of the opioid epidemic. So he was treating it like an outbreak of like the measles or something. Okay. Yeah. I think the truth is somewhere between you and I. Because I think there are some consistencies in your logic. But I also think that the McDonald's argument is extremely compelling to me. And the reason why we're okay with a 6-year-old in a drive-thru, when we know statistically that creating that habit is probably going to result in that 6-year-old being dead probably 15 years earlier. We're okay with that because he's got a fighting chance. Whereas with heroin, his fighting chance gets lessened exponentially. That's pretty much the argument.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get off of McDonald's than it is to get off of heroin.
Yeah, and for that reason, I think it's crazy to me, like this libertarian idea that we should just let stuff go. Like, don't you think at some level that certain actions that the individual takes... See, I think ultimately this is like this case of radical individualism, which is you, versus collectivism, which is me. Like, it seems to me that you're saying, like, look, man, if you take heroin, that's your specific choice, and if you die, and that's your problem.
Yeah.
But you're not factoring in, okay, what if they die with kids? Then whose problem does it become? And then those kids get set on a trajectory for violent crime. That's a statistical fact. And they're 4 times more likely to be trafficked by their own parents because of this drug. That's a fact. And you're saying none of that is relevant.
I mean, you're not going to like my answer, but if a kid does lose a parent because that parent is a dope fiend, why is that my problem?
No, I'm not saying... I mean, that's tough to hear, and I don't believe that if you actually saw one of these kids that you'd say that. But I'll tell you how it becomes your problem. It becomes your problem because that kid now is more likely to get involved in violent crime or a life of crime because of that entire circumstance, which could then fall into your nice, safe suburban existence.
And I still think violent crime should be illegal because it involves one party harming another.
Well, right, but if we have an action that almost guarantees the increase of violent crime, shouldn't we cut that off at the knees?
By enforcing a war on drugs, I don't think that helps at all. I think that brings more problems to the table. That's the only solution that's been offered thus far in this country.
When you say war on drugs, you're talking about... Well, okay, what if I were to say we prosecute the hell out of the heroin dealer, but treat the heroin addict as a person who's diseased?
For right now, I would prefer that over what we're currently as a nation.
Okay, so we've got some consensus. So I'm gonna ask you one more thing, and you stayed on pretty long with me. I appreciate it. So, and you've helped me think a couple things through, so I appreciate that too. So we prosecute the hell out of the heroin dealer, but we, there was this study in Europe. I forgot what country it was, but they put all the heroin people, I don't want to say junkies, but addicts together, and they didn't prosecute them, and they had like a much lower recidivism rate than the way that we handle it, which is we throw people in jail and whatever. So why would you prosecute the heroin dealer?
Because because they're the ones who are currently supplying the material that is basically tearing apart various fabrics of society.
Okay.
At some point, I'd like to see drugs legalized and taxed.
Including heroin.
Yes.
I definitely see weed being taxed. But I do not see, I don't foresee a country where, in America, where heroin is legalized and taxed.
Nope.
Like, well, I don't see it happening, but it's just what I would advocate for.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I don't think criminalizing it is, well, clearly it's not stopping it. It's just been getting worse.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, and our governor is pretty hard. I mean, our governor is so crazy that, you know, Narcan is, you know, when these people OD, stick them with Narcan, they get a fighting chance to come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
LePage, so you had all of these, it was like the cops, it was in their tool belt, the EMTs, it was in their tool belt. LePage, like, withdrew the Narcan from the cops, and he basically said, if you're dumb enough to take heroin and you OD and you don't make it to the hospital, you're out.
That's so messed up.
Like, that's how but this is to your point, Alec, it did not stop the heroin trade in our state and in our city. So, like, basically our governor basically said, if you OD on heroin and somebody calls the cops, if you make it to St. Mary's, fine. If you don't, you're dead. And it didn't function as a deterrent at all. So to your point, like, criminalizing it is not that big of a deterrent, because these people are willing to die for this shit. But anyway, good chat, Alec. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll be sticking around in the chat.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on with Alec Jones, man.
Yeah, I haven't really followed him that much. I just know he has a few crazy punchlines. About turning the freaking frogs gay with chemicals. That's my favorite one.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he said something along those lines.
Maybe this person has something to say about it.
Okay, why would Obama want to have the frogs be gay?
I don't have a clue. I don't even know if it's true. I would highly doubt that there was a secret initiative by the Obama administration to turn frogs gay, but...
Bro, I need you to email me or text me that YouTube link. I gotta see that shit for myself. God almighty. Mm-hmm. All right, my man. I got other callers.
Bye, Alex.
I gotta let you go.
Bye.
I love you, man. Have a good one. Good Lord.
I have to see that to believe it.
I gotta see it to believe it. Yo, who's this?
I gotta let you go. I love you, man. Have a good one. Good Lord.
Houston. Hudson. Gosh, I just did it again.
Can you hear me? This is Dante.
What's up, Dante? Hey.
What, he's playing us on the laptop, so he needs to shut us up.
Hold on, I'm getting feedback off of YouTube.
Well, you turn down your volume, my man.
I am, man. I am.
Okay, what's up, brother? What do you got?
What's up, man? So, I mean, I've been listening to you guys all night, and you've had lots of great conversations back and forth here. Everything from the Mexico to the drugs that you're just talking about, abortion, all of it was great, man. But what I'm noticing, especially with your commentators that you're having on here, your other callers, is everybody's getting caught up in the how do I want to put it? The emotions of the subjects as it was, the morality of it, and that's where they're getting hung up, because they believe certain things, and they're saying they believe certain things, but they're letting the morality and their emotions in it get the best of them. And that's where I'm always finding fault with these commentators that you're having on here, and even yourself, Vin, even though you're a very smart person, you are. I enjoy listening to you.
Well, I don't.
I was rattling on there.
No, you weren't. I don't have a problem admitting that I have that my emotions factor into decisions about stuff.
I actually I wanted to call up earlier because I was your supposed left winger that wanted to talk to you early on, and I actually want to comment on the left wing. Not necessarily the Democrats, but the left wing of American politics in general, is that it's too based in emotion. It's a very that saddens me. Not only does it sadden me, it makes me angry because to me it goes against the very idea of what leftism was about, or liberalism, as it were. Liberalism is all about rational thought. We're trying to get rid of as much of our emotional center as possible and getting to the rational, the higher mind. That's my belief anyway. That's how I've always approached liberalism and left thought.
So in your mind, being a liberal is about being rational.
Being as purely rational as can be. Obviously, being human beings, we are always going to have some form of emotion unless we're purely sociopathic. But in general, it's about trying to transcend emotion through rationality.
Why is rationality more important than emotion?
I personally believe that the only way to progress, the progress is almost all of the progresses that we have made in mankind have come through getting over our irrational fears and our ideas of everything from mythology. I know for you it would be religion. I am not a religious person, agnostic personally. And I mean, don't get me wrong, many of the brilliant scientists have come through religious backgrounds throughout history. And I mean, almost exclusively in the Middle Ages, scientists were funded by the church.
Well, yeah, my specific question is why are you exalting reason over emotion?
Because I think emotion is one of those things that's kind of like an albatross around our neck. It holds us down. It's a curse, as it were. It stops us from exploring things. Okay, let's. I hate doing this. This is Godwin's law right here, talking about the Nazis. But going with them, think about some of the experiments that they did. They actually pushed forward several technological advances in humankind, even so much so that the United States hired many Nazi scientists to work for them because they were able to do so. Not always, obviously. Some of the things they just did were crazy, but some of the things that they were able to do was because they had no attachment to emotionality or emotion to basically hold them down from their experiments. Right. And I'm very much about getting results. The ends always justify the means, or means always justify the ends, however you want to put the term.
Right. So you're completely Machiavellian, and the Nazis were. It seems like you're saying that they were onto something because they took emotion out of it and just used pure reason and experimented on human beings.
In terms of what they were able to accomplish. Now, don't get me wrong, their radical racial ideas were disgusting, but that also comes into another problem I have.
Isn't disgusting an emotional word?
Yeah, I mean, once again, I did say earlier on that you can never completely cut yourself off from emotions, and the best you can do is try to overcome them.
Isn't it important to have emotions so that we get protected from things like mad scientists experimenting on humans, which is on one hand very logical but emotionally disturbing?
I mean, the idea of everybody has the inborn idea of wanting to be protected, but I do believe it can be taken too far. I mean, Benjamin Franklin, I believe, famously said that those who would give up their liberty for safety deserve neither. Now, obviously, I'm sure he was looking at a bit of a middle ground there when he said those words. But I very much do believe that. I believe that safety should often be thrown out the window. Maybe not completely, but a good 90% anyway to achieve results. It goes right back to the conversation you were just having about heroin. Heroin, as it is it's very dangerous. I've done it myself. Until the age of 22, I'm in my 30s now. I microdosed for years, and with many other drugs. You name it, I've done it. Let's just say that. I believe that experimenting with anything is really the only way that you're ever going to be able to understand something. So you always have to throw caution to the wind if you want to achieve anything in life. That's just my personal viewpoint there. And I mean, I just noticed it, how it's been weaved into these different conversations, whether it be the drugs or the abortions or the wall in Mexico, everything, and how everybody was saying, "Oh, I'm against this. I'm against abortion," except at this point. No, either you're for abortion or not. Either you're for giving up life or not. I'm not, by and large, I'm not tied down by a moral perspective. I don't think human beings are a special thing in general. I don't think my life is special. You can throw it away. I throw it away. As long as I gain something from doing it, that's all that matters. Something that's valuable to me, anyway.
Well, no, I think your life is special. And what do you mean, throw it away? What the hell are you talking about, man?
Oh, well, you think my life is special. I don't. I don't think any life is special. That's my personal opinion. So, I mean, and that's where my amoral mindset comes from. When you're looking at any of these things, whether it be the abortion or the drug idea, like the guy was saying, was your friend's name Alex, I think it was, who you were just speaking to?
Yep.
Okay. He was saying, oh, well, you shouldn't, 6-year-olds shouldn't be given heroin. I agree. I don't think 6-year-olds should be given heroin, but if a 6-year-old does heroin by their own free will, well, the consequences are their own at that point.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for sharing, man. Have a good one.
You as well. Thank you for having me on.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
We're running on the edge of time here. Is Pony still here?
I don't know. I haven't seen her talking.
I've officially shut down the call-in line.
People are saying we should get Discord.
Discord, yeah, yeah. Hey, Pony, did you have a Bible question?
She just wanted to see some Bible discussion. Somebody did, or maybe she did have a question. I know somebody was asking a question at the beginning about 1 John.
Okay, if somebody has a Bible question, they can call in, or no, text me the Bible question, and then we'll do
Put
that.
it in the chat.
I can call in briefly about Alex Jones. Actually, I do want you to call in about Alex Jones. Somebody needs to talk to me, but Vin would declare jihad against me. No, I wouldn't declare jihad against you. Ezekiel 25:17.
You wouldn't declare jihad against whom?
Anybody.
Jihad just means to struggle. You wrestle with people.
Oh, that's true. I'd wrestle him, I guess.
Just tap out, all right?
Yeah, just
It gets to be too much.
Yeah.
How do you know that's not the Jones person?
Because his name isn't Jones. I don't see Jones there.
People put different names.
It's Maddie Sop. I'm only taking a call from Maddie Sop. Hello.
Hello.
Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, Vin and Sori? This is Maddie SOP. How y'all doing?
What's
Hi.
going on, Mr. SOP? Do you have some Alex Jones science for me?
Yeah, I know you guys have been wanting to know about this whole Alex Jones business, so I just wanted to call and let you know. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought or have been thinking that Alex was banned because of his conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But actually, he was banned because in July he called for drag queens to be burned alive.
What?
And saying things like, "We're going to destroy you. You will ascend to hell." Blah blah blah. So basically, he just that was the hate speech that they considered when they banned him.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have actual video of him doing that? I mean, we're not gonna play it on the show, but
I just have a link to an article that has some links within it and quotes, different quotes and stuff. There's a bunch of other quotes that he said on some podcasts, like
Did you hear Alex Jones say we were gonna burn drag queens? Did you hear that yourself?
No, I did not hear that myself. This was a podcast in July. I don't really listen to Alex Jones, so.
Well, how the hell do you know he said it, man?
Well, it's in a link here on the it's like quoted.
Okay.
And I mean, this isn't just like one off website. There's many websites that are posting his quotes and stuff like that.
Okay,
This was the official. Mm-hmm.
What does Alex Jones have against drag queens?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask him. I have no idea. He obviously he says a lot of off the cuff things, but specifically why he was banned was because of his hate speech towards drag queens and transgender people that he actually had on his podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
So he said things like,
said she Googled it earlier.
we're coming like villagers in the night with torches burning bright with fire. Fire is not. He was going on and on. He was ranting basically with these people on his show, on his podcast.
They were there, and he said it to them.
They were there. Soon the icy cold hell will embrace you forever. Stuff like that.
Jeez,
Okay, do you agree with him being banned on these platforms?
You know, it's hard to say. Like, I'll be upfront. I'm not an Alex Jones fan. You know, he does have a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, but so does a lot of people. You know, on these platforms like Twitter. There's a lot of crazy talk on Twitter. Well, actually, he didn't get banned from Twitter, so I shouldn't say Twitter. Twitter was actually the only platform that hasn't banned him. But yeah, I mean, on like Facebook and YouTube, there's a lot of crazy conspiracy theorists.
Okay, some people are saying that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, my brother, but some people are saying that he was angry about young boys being drag queens and being like
6-year-old boys
being sexualized. I mean, is that the context of the statement?
Well, he said a bunch of stuff. That was also a part of it. He said that young folks today were being taught to like have sex with machines, like cars and
what?
Yeah, and like blenders and stuff.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I would consider that hate speech, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just like a crazy opinion, and I don't know if that would be considered hate speech in my opinion. Hate speech is a very fine line in my opinion. It's very subjective. To me, it's very hard to define. I don't know if you guys can define it, you know, yourselves, but I don't know. It's a very slippery slope in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big hate speech guy. Like I said, you know, people call me all kinds of names in the comment section, and you know, obviously I'm black, Sori's white, so there's, you know, whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that those people should be locked up or prosecuted in any way, or even necessarily banned from YouTube. Where I draw the line is when you start doing things to incite violence against another person.
Vault,
and I agree. No, I'm fully with you on that.
Yeah, if you incite people to harm others, then it's hate speech. Vault Gamer, yeah. I mean, that's where I am.
Right. Now, on the flip side of that, just to, you know, kind of give a counter argument, but I agree with that completely. But these companies, obviously, you know, the argument is they can do whatever they want. You know, they're private companies.
Right.
They have policies, you know. If you go to work for, I don't know, Pepsi, and you start saying stuff like that, they're probably going to fire you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want. So I also don't have, I mean, I can't argue with that either. So, I don't know, you know? It's just one of those things.
All right, my brother. Thank you for the education.
You got it, man. All right, take care.
Have a good one.
You too.
I got to change the title of this show, babe, because we didn't get to touch on the NRA, even though the NRA is a discussion I actually want to talk about. But not tonight.
Vin and Sori make Oreo babies.
That's true. I agree, because at what point did your freedom of speech cause her in distress from the responsibility of freedom of speech begin? Yeah. Tina and I and Dirk Diggler actually had a very, very good conversation about
I
that.
have to edit that and get it out.
That we're gonna post soon.
Soon,
Alex
inshallah,
Jones exposes
soon.
the deep state controlled by Jews, and Facebook and YouTube are controlled by Jews. Stephen Nealis, are you being serious right now?
Integrity 101. Vin, sorry, listen.
Well,
Okay, what do you want us to listen to?
Yes, Elio Mike. I'm gonna feature you on our next show because our next show is gonna be about the NRA for sure. Okay, 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3 what, Thrash Lord? Because that's an entire chapter.
Our email is vinandsori@gmail.com. And our address is Vin and Sori, P.O. Box 7024, Lewiston, Maine 04243.
True story, Gojira. Okay, I am willing to take one Bible question before we depart.
Somebody asked one way at the beginning. It was about 1 John. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember it, babe.
If you're still here and you're the person that was asking the question about 1 John, send the message.
Lance, are you calling about a Bible question?
We're not taking a call anyway. We're doing the chats here. I think it was the verse about hate the world and the things of the world and stuff like that.
I believe I recall you saying there is no end in the Bible that's changed. You stand by that. So how do you explain passages 1 John 5:7, Mark 6:9, John 7, da 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 da. Do you wanna call Perkavus or 1 John 5:7 is called the Comma the Comma Johannium. That's the technical term for it. And 1 John 5:7 was an addition that came about around the 9th or 10th century. We had literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of manuscripts prior to that. So it'd be like saying we have no real the Constitution has been changed because we had a Constitution around, I don't know, the 1700s, and then some whack job comes and adds, 10 articles to the Constitution. Does that mean the Constitution's been changed? No. It means we have an original Constitution, and then some whack job 100, 200, 300 years later tried to add something to it.
Right.
I don't see how that constitutes a change of the Bible. Good question, though. When are you going to be starting the Bible study stuff? You know what I'm going to do? According to Genesis 1:11, am I allowed to smoke? I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that in Sori's hand because Sori has been asking me about it. So Sori is going to set a date, and whatever date Sori says, that's going to be the Bible study. What do I think about the crucifixion in Saudi Arabia the other day? I don't know about any crucifixion in Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, there is a verse in the Quran that does say that those who cause mischief in the land, one of the penalties would be crucifixion. I think it's Surah 4, Surah 6, somewhere around that. I mean, if it did happen, I'm against the death penalty, and I'm definitely against cruel and unusual punishment, which I think crucifixion is cruel and unusual punishment, so I'm not a fan of that.
People are typing 7 again.
How do you reconcile the Old Testament and the New Testament? Why don't the Jews believe Jesus was their Messiah, but Christians do? How do I reconcile the Old Testament and New Testament? What did Spurgeon say? I do not reconcile friends. The New Testament is completely dependent on the Old Testament, and the Old Testament foretells the New Testament. So I don't feel there's any conflict to reconcile. Jews started Christianity. Christianity was a Jewish religion. As a matter of fact, the first conflict in Christianity was whether or not non-Jews could take part in the little club. So it's not necessarily true to say that Jews don't embrace Christianity.
Yes, we're pacifists. In theory. I haven't actually been put in a situation where I would have to practice my pacifism.
My better self is pacifistic, and I hope that I'll be able to be consistent with that. Matthew's calling. Hey.
Hello?
Big homie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so we're both basically reformed-ish. But I have a question that the good people should hear.
Okay.
So, how do we reconcile the Calvinist ideal of predestination with whosoever believes?
Whosoever believes in John. So the question he's asking is, there are Christians. There's a long-standing Christian tradition that says that God chooses who will be saved. That he's got a certain number of people that he's choosing will be saved, and the reason that you chose Jesus is because God chose you first. And the question then becomes, well, how do you reconcile that with John 3:16? Because John 3:16 says, God so loves the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes should not perish but have everlasting life. The Greek phrase for whoever believes is pas hapasteuon. There is no whoever in that text.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey,
can you hear me? Yeah, so the Greek phrase is pas hapasteuon, and literally that means all the believing ones. So it's God so loved the world he gave his only begotten Son, that all the believing ones should not perish but have eternal life.
Wow, nice. Yeah, you just know more about the languages and shit than me, so.
There you go. And you can check that out with Bible stuff, where the word pas means all. Pisteuon, pistuo is faith or belief, and then ha is a definite article. So it's pas hapasteuon, all the believing ones.
Nice.
All right, buddy.
So, yeah, I would love that to discuss that deeper when it's more of like a full Bible thing, but that's good for tonight.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see you guys.
Cool.
Okay, our email address is vinandsori@gmail.com, and our physical mailing address is Vin and Sori, P.O. Box 7024, Lewiston, Maine 04243.
Why is the Greek translation more relevant? Because the New Testament was written in Greek and not English, and so the closer you can get to the original language, the more clearer you'll have an understanding of the nuances of the words. My religion is mouthwashist. We believe in not being disgusting. Amen!
Because they asked us what mouthwash we use, and I said we don't use any. We're nasty.
If I'm predestined to not believe, why should I even care, and why should anyone try and convert me? You know, there's a passage in Deuteronomy. It says, the secret things belong to the Lord, and the things revealed belong to us and our children, that we might obey all the words of the law. And so it's none of my business, and it's none of your business who God has chosen. But it is our business to obey what God reveals in the Word. And what God reveals in the Word is believe in Jesus and have eternal life and be friends with me. So you should obey that. That's what you should do. Do you have to go to church?
Texas. Your hair looks very nice, Sori, and your beard looks nice and trimmed, Mr. Vin. I thought you trimmed it. Did you? Did you straighten it a little bit for me?
I did, actually.
You did? I noticed it during the chat earlier.
So every time I talk to a Satanist now in email, I always end it with Hail Jesus.
Hail Jesus. Yeah, I saw you ending one. I was like, oh.
Hail Satan. Okay. All right, one more question and I got to get out of here. If someone doesn't believe in God but he's a good person, do you think he will go to hell or heaven? Do me a favor and define more clearly what believe in God means. Because the quickest answer to that from a biblical perspective is that nobody is a good person. So I don't believe in. Go ahead.
I'd love if you end the Nurgle interview with Hail Jesus.
Now
sorry.
you know that's going to happen,
I
sir.
know for sure.
For sure. Can predestination lead to nihilism? Yes, it can if you don't teach it properly, which is why I generally stay away from answering those questions because it opens up a can of worms that, yeah.
Vin, I tried to ask you, where's the all-seeing eye in the Bible?
I don't know where the all-seeing eye is in the Bible. I mean, God, maybe? God has the all-seeing eye? I mean, it's hell. If you don't accept, believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. Yeah, I think we have to work on defining what hell is. And I think we have to define what hell is. We have to define who goes there, and we have to define why people go there. So, if you're talking about the place that's on fire and people get set on fire forever, I don't believe such a place exists in God's universes ever. I don't believe that happens. I believe that those are metaphorical pictures, and I have good biblical proofs of that. Do I believe that there is a bad place where people go? Yes. But it's a lot more complicated than that, and we'll have one of the Bible studies I have in my head is ideas in the Bible that Vin and Sori do not like. So there's a couple ideas in the Bible that I'm not very comfortable with, that I believe that I don't like, and so I want to do a Bible study on that and talk about them and have you guys call us up and, whatever. Don't unbaptized babies go to limbo. Isn't that unfair? I don't believe unbaptized babies go to limbo. I think they go right back to God.
Integrity. Isaac Cappy, look him up. Alex Jones band. Will you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody said something about mixing fabrics.
Yeah.
I don't know about mixing fabrics. Somebody said something about the Old Testament or something like that.
I'm sure.
Probably Leviticus. You said in your ghost videos that technically Satan is not in heaven. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? Well, I mean, in hell.
I was trying to... I'm like, when did we see?
Satan is never pictured for the vast majority of the Bible as being in hell. He roams the earth in Job chapter 1. Satan shows up to the throne and God says, "Hey man, where you been?" And Satan goes, "I've been going to and fro about the earth. I've been chilling on the earth." And they have a conversation. Apparently Satan has access to the heavenly realm, at least in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, he is called in Ephesians the prince of the power of the air. Mm-hmm. He doesn't end up in hell until the very last chapters of the Bible, Revelation 20, 21. That's when he ends up in what you would call hell. So Satan is alive. He's active. Christians are warned that Satan is active in the world today. So he's not in hell right now. And it's not like a lot of people picture hell as like the base camp for the devil. And that's not the biblical picture at all.
No.
If babies go to God, isn't it better to kill your children and risk them going to hell? No, because as I said in Deuteronomy 29, the secret things belong to the Lord, and the things revealed belong to us and our children, that we may obey all the words of the law. And what that means is, if it's God's secret decree or God's secret will to take that child home, that's his business. It's not our business to play God. So we shouldn't kill a child. We shouldn't kill anybody. Random questions. I know that you rate Behemoth songs very high and you've enjoyed songs from other satanic bands. I didn't like Ora Pro Nobis Lucifer. I didn't like that one. But the most recent one I really, really like and I listen to almost every day. The God Equals Dog one. I love the melodies. There. I just felt like he explored different things, and it was just a very, very different sound, and so that one I like a lot.
You see Integrity again? Don't forget it.
What's Integrity? What's he saying?
Isaac Cappy, don't forget. Look at timing of Alex Jones band.
Okay. Since we have no choice in whether or not we believe. No, I never said that. You absolutely have a choice. In Joshua it says, "Choose you this day whom you shall serve." In Acts chapter 2, repent and be baptized. You absolutely have to make a choice.
Good night, Samantha.
Will a mentally
Maximo, I was giving away at 5. Let's talk.
Will a mentally handicapped person go to heaven?
Email us.
Will a mentally handicapped person go to heaven? So at the end of the book of Jonah, it's kind of, people get hung up. I'll probably do a Jonah series too.
Oh my gosh, that was my favorite thing
It's
that
such
you
a
taught
fun.
me with
It's a
Jonah.
it's a fun book to do.
It's so fun.
At the end of the book of Jonah, God spares an entire city full of wicked people. And the reason he spares the city is because there are 10,000 people who don't know their right hand from their left. And what God is saying is there's small children, and I also believe mentally handicapped people. And God said, I'm not going to destroy an entire city like that. These guys don't know their right hand from their left. So they gotta give me for that. So based on that, I extrapolate that God saves people who are mentally handicapped. That they're especially loved by him, and he loans them to us for a short while so that we could love them, so that we could know what it's like to actually love without receiving anything in return for a span of 50, 60 years, if we can do that. Because that's a gift. So he loans them to us for a short time, and then he takes them back. That's my belief. If I don't have a choice if I believe in God or not, he hasn't given me a reason to believe. If God exists, he could just say hi to me or something. It's actually God's choice, not mine. So, I think about you a lot. I think about you every day because of some of the things that you sent to me. And I'm going to tell you what the Bible says. And I believe it 100%. But I also currently am struggling with why God won't reveal himself to you in a way that you can know for yourself in yourself that he's speaking to you. But then again, maybe he's doing it now. So there's a passage in Job chapter 33, and Job is struggling through all this stuff, and he's going through all this turmoil in his life, and he keeps challenging God, and God won't speak to him. And then somebody very wise shows up to Job and says, why do you contend against him, saying he will answer none of man's words? Because Job is crying out, and he's complaining. And so the person saying, why are you wrestling with him, saying he won't answer you? For God does speak in one way and in two, though man does not perceive it. In a dream and in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men while they slumber in their beds. And then it just goes on. It's a very, very beautiful passage. It's probably one of my favorite passages in all the Bible. But I love that phrase. God does speak in one way and in two, though man does not perceive it. And so what I would say is a lot of be careful that, and I'm not going to judge your sincerity because I'm just taking you at face value that you do want God to reveal himself to you. Just be careful that you don't have a very specific boxed-in definition of what it means for God to speak to you. Just have an open soul, have an open spirit, and say, however you want to talk to me, my antennas are up and I'm listening. And I think if you do that consistently, that he will speak to you in such a way that it'll be undeniable. So that's what I would say in answer to that question. What is the importance of Judges 19? Why is it so similar to what Lot went through with the angels? Why did he dismember the woman? Okay, that's the last one I will answer. And then we gotta go, guys, because I gotta pay attention to my wife. I love Jordan Peterson with my whole soul, and we're gonna get an interview with him. Okay, so Judges 19, just so you guys know, this guy's in this house. He's got this woman in his house, and a gang of dudes show up, and they bang down the door. And the guy takes the woman and shoves her outside, and they rape this girl the entire night. And then he opens the door and he finds the girl. They're dead. I mean, they treated her so bad that she died. And then what happened is he dismembered her and sent her body parts all over to the other tribes. And the other tribes said, we can't stand for this. We're going to go do jihad. And they went and they fought and killed a bunch of people who did that from the city who did that to this girl. That's Judges 19. He said, why is that in the Bible? Why is it so similar to Sodom and Gomorrah? I think that that's actually a very, very, very important narrative. Because if you know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right, the same things happen only in a homosexual context, right? So in a homosexual context, the guys are beating on the door, and they wanted to rape the guys, and then God judged the city and all the good stuff, right? I think Judges 19, let me say it this way. I don't think it's right to discuss Sodom and Gomorrah and its implications unless you also discuss Judges 19. because I think what's happening I think what God is doing is saying, because what happened in Judges 19 was happening in Israel among God's chosen and special people. And I think what was happening is God is saying, don't assume that because you're God's people or because you're religious, that you're somehow better than these sodomites. All of us have the spirit of Sodom in us, in the sense of every civilization has, I mean, we heard it earlier today. We have the propensity to dehumanize and kill and destroy and consume other people, just like what you saw in Sodom. So I think Judges 19 is very important because it's showing God's chosen people who are very religious, who have a Bible, who would turn their nose up at those disgusting sodomites doing the very same things. And I think the message of the Bible is there are no good guys except for one. Everybody sucks. Everybody's evil. We all need a savior. He dismembered her. It was basically proof of death, and it was basically to get everybody's emotions riled up so that they could get gather together and do war. Because during the time of the judges, there was no king. So there was nobody that could be a solitary galvanizing force. And so that carried enough emotional weight to galvanize everybody to do war, to fight for justice for this young woman. So that's why Judges 19 is important. All right, guys. Thank you all very, very much. We had a very, very good time. I need to pay attention to my wife. We need to watch some Vikings, and I'm very, very thirsty, and I want some soda. So be well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. And we're out of here. Babe, I'll let you have the last word.
I will check out Discord, and Vin remembers that other thing. So we'll see both of those things. I love you guys, and I enjoyed my time with you.
Yes.
See you next time. I'll let you.
Inshallah.
I'll be letting
Shalom.
you guys know about the Bible study. It will be soon. I can assure you.
Yeah. What is Vikings and what channel? Yeah. So this is what we owe everybody before we leave. We owe everybody the Pink Floyd breakdown of Dark Side of the Moon. We owe at least one Bible study. And we owe a movie watch with our patrons. So we're going to be watching the movie Dogma together with our patrons. We're working on finding the technology to watch that together. So that's my goal for, on top of the 2 videos a day, my goal is to be able to accomplish all of that. My goal is to accomplish all of that in the month of August for you guys. Seriously, I love you all. Ben, continue to email me, my brother. And I love you guys. Carnival! Yes! Carnival! That would be great. All right. Babe, I'll let you have the last word.
I already did.
Have another last word, I'm sorry.
Okay, good night, you guys.
We love you.
I already said that. I'm just waiting for you to actually be done because you keep saying it a bunch of times.
That's true.
Here.
That's true.
Let me help you.
Okay. Goodbye. Bye, Vault Gamer. Nightwish.